It's time for grassroots racers and fans to gather round. Welcome to the Racing Roundup Show. And thanks for joining us for our landmark 40th season. We are your destination for news and interviews within the Wisconsin racing scene, the upper Midwest, and from the world of motorsports. The Racing Roundup Show is America's longest running weekly motorsports show held in front of a live audience. You still have time to join the racing crowd for tonight's show. And now, here is the host of the Racing Roundup Show, Jim Trado.
Hey gang, how are you? We're hanging out on a Tuesday night outside in beautiful Utica, Wisconsin. It's wonderful. We're where the band stage is. We're outside at Utica Bar. Jason Schuler and his wife Becky own the place. Hans Lean sold it to him in the springtime. Hansi's here with his Mercury sitting right out here. We have a show car as well as a car show, I should say. We have a car show, race car show, and we want you to join us at Utica Bar. We'll be here for the next at least 90 minutes doing giveaways after the show as well. But we have a lot to do in a little bit of time. We're in Utica, Wisconsin at the Utica Bar, a great bar to hang out with your friends. They've got a bunch of TVs. It's a great bar, and as owner Jason Schuler says, quote, "We're in the middle of everywhere, but in the middle of nowhere." Okay, I get it. It's a beautiful place. You got to come and check it out. Dean Strom turned me on to this place in February, I think it was, and he said, "We got to do a show here." I showed up in March with him, and I said, "We got to do a show here." It's a lot of fun. So come on down and join us at the Utica Bar today. If you can't join us and you're watching us online after the show happens, it's okay. Utica Bar is easy to find. And we want you to make sure you look it up on Facebook, Utica Bar, UTICA Bar, and hang out with us at any point because Jason and Becky have a bunch of fun with their regulars and with you showing up here on a given Tuesday night or Saturday night or Badger game, whatever it may be. This is our September 10th edition of the Racing Roundup Show. It's another D'Angelo's Construction Roadshow at the Utica Bar. This week presented by Hogan Farms. Thank you, Joe Hogan, who's here today. He's 4 miles down the road farming on the land. He's here tonight. Joe's a huge supporter of a lot of the race cars that are here and a lot of racers in the area. So thank you, Joe, for being part of our program. Hogan Farms presenting today's Roadshow at Utica Bar. Set your DVRs and watch our Saturday show. Parts of our Tuesday shows airs on Saturday in Milwaukee on CW18 Milwaukee on television. That's at 11:30 every Saturday morning. In Milwaukee on CW18. We want you to ask you to please support our sponsors as well. They make this show possible. The wing panel in front of our table says 40 years. That's our 40th season already of the show. Thanks to our friends at Oak Creek Automotive, Great Lakes Dragway, Allied Resource Recovery, Midwest Truck Series, Dells Raceway Park, and Madison International Speedway, among others. They make this show possible. Please support them by clicking on their logo on our website, racingroundupshow.com. It's going to be a great show with a ton of racers. We're starting off with Mike Gruenberg from Precise Auto and Truck Accessories in Wisconsin Dells. He's been racing all season long at Jefferson Speedway. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Terry Tucker. They're our first guest. We got a lot of racers hanging out with us. Brandon Welty just rolled on in with Dawn, so it's kind of cool to see them here. We'll talk to as many racers as we can in the next 90 minutes. Riley Stenjum lives 3 houses away. We got a lot going on in the center of everything. We're in the middle of everywhere. We'll be right back at Utica Bar.
Thanks for tuning in to the Racing Roundup Show. Check out our website, racingroundupshow.com, and like our show on Facebook. Join us on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We're coming right back after these messages from our awesome show sponsors.
Add value and beauty to your home or commercial property with professional landscaping from Central Services Company, Incorporated. The team at Central Services is their personal choice of over 45 years of satisfied customers in Southeast Wisconsin for landscape design, construction, and grounds maintenance. Call Central Services at 262-548-0005 for all your landscaping and lawn care needs. No job is too large or too small. From lawn fertilization and weed control to award-winning landscape construction and building your backyard patio oasis, Central Services is your full-service landscape company. Call the experts at Central Services at 262-548-0005 for a free, no-obligation consultation at your home or business. Find out why Central Services can provide you with the visual difference in the art of landscaping and lawn care. Call 262-548-0005. Central Services, the visual difference in landscaping.
ARR has been recycling for over 80 years and is here to help. Take them your recyclable metals and they'll pay you cash. ARR buys aluminum, brass, copper, lead, and steel. And attention contractors, ARR has a bonus program just for you that puts more cash in your pocket. And who doesn't like more cash? Find their full list of accepted materials at ARR1938.com. ARR with locations in West Allis and Waukesha. If you have questions, give them a call. 414-321-4134. ARR Recycling since 1938.
The National Short Track Championships are coming to Dells Raceway Park September 13th, 14th, and 15th. The weekend will play host to 11 different divisions over 3 days of racing action, kicking off Friday night at 6:30, featuring super late model twin features, plus hobby stock, bandits, and sixers. The Saturday card will feature the Big 8 late models, modified sportsmen, and American short trackers. Championship Sunday will feature the super late models in the Hugh Deary Classic 150, along with the 602 late models and the Mid-Am Stock Car Series. Get your advance tickets online now at DellsRacewayPark.com.
Plan now to cruise Alaska with Making Memories Travel next September. Enjoy an unforgettable 7-day Alaskan cruise from Vancouver on the Norwegian Jade. Juneau and Hubbard Glacier are just 2 of the cities that await you. Hike up snow-capped mountains and witness majestic whales splash in the Pacific. Then come back on board to catch an amazing show, followed by a starlit stroll on the top deck. Breathtaking views, all the amenities, all the memories. Cruise Alaska. Contact Mark at Making Memories Travel today.
Like our show on Facebook and share our content with other race fans. We hope to see you at one of our upcoming shows too. Join racers, other race fans, and win prizes. Now let's get back to more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show. Glad to be joining you today at Utica Bar. Thanks to Hogan Farms for presenting another DeAngelis Construction Roadshow. We're hanging out with you on this Tuesday night, September 10th. I see a couple UTVs, a couple of golf carts, and a bunch of racers and race cars hanging out with us. Make sure you join us at Utica Bar. If you can't be here today, by all means, stop on by. This is a destination. It's awesome to have them hosting us here today. We want to thank them for their support. They're a bunch of racers hanging out with a bunch of racers, so it's going to be a lot of fun to talk to a number of drivers from different disciplines here this evening. Hey, if you're looking to sell or buy a home or commercial property, choose the Rapina Group, Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. List and buy with confidence. Higher knowledge. Knowledge is power. The Rapina Group can get it done when it's coming to the time to buy or sell your commercial or home property. Not all realtors are the same. You want to choose Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty and sell your house with the Rapina Group. Visit rapinagroup.com. We also want to tell you that there's a lot going on in the world of motorsports. Some seasons have wrapped up. Some seasons are now in the special time of year. We welcome in our next guest on the program that will be part of our TV show on CW18 Milwaukee here this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, 11:30 a.m., 30-minute show, the Racing Roundup Show on CW18 Milwaukee, Milwaukee's only TV motorsports show. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show. Happy to be joined by a gentleman who's busy racing and busy working at Precise Auto and Truck Accessories, a family business. Let's welcome into the show Mike Gruenberg. Mike, welcome to the show.
How are you doing?
I'm really good. Yeah, man. Thanks for making the time. We tried to get you on a couple times this year, but you've been super busy. How's work been going?
Work's busy. Constantly working in Madison. Obviously going home to my hometown and working for my business there. And not much time to do this show with you guys, but tonight made it work.
We're happy to have your support in many ways because there's a lot going on when it comes to Precise Auto Truck Accessories. I was actually in the process of putting together the commercial. I said, man, what do we do? You said you have over 1 million accessories. You can bling up a car, a truck, an SUV, a UTV. I mean, you guys have a lot of things to choose from when it comes to making vehicles better and customized to the person's liking, don't you?
That is correct. We do have 1 million accessories that are capable to us on one night. We can have them the next day if we're ordered by 5 o'clock. We do a lot of leather interiors. We'll rip out your cloth interior, put in leather interior. We do a lot of that for the dealers. And then a lot of spraying bed liners, a lot of window tint, obviously. Getting to be the cooler months, so starting to do a lot of heated seats and remote starts.
And you got cool seats, too, coming, right? Do you do those, too?
We do cooled seats.
In case you get a little warm in the summertime. Now, when I was in your shop, you had a UTV that wanted tint. You also had a beautiful big truck outside that wanted tint. I mean, that seems to be, is that what you do most?
Yeah, we do a lot of tint. Just, that sun's annoying when you're driving to work, home from work. People don't like it, and they want it blocked. So, I mean, it's a great business to be in. I'm constantly busy with it. Yeah, but I do a lot of tint, but there is more to the business than just tint. We do a lot of tonneau covers, Nerf bars.
Okay, we have to pause? Okay. All right, we'll pause. Do we need to start over? I can start over. Good practice. We lost our signal.
Yeah, it's actually trying to get this third camera set up. That's my problem.
Okay.
So if you just
Yeah.
A lot goes into this.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show. Glad to have you joining us on this Tuesday evening. Hope you get to see this portion of our show on Saturdays on CW18 Milwaukee. Looking forward to seeing you on a Tuesday night. Look at our show schedule, racingroundupshow.com. Here we go in the TV segment in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show. We're hanging out in Utica, Wisconsin at the Utica Bar, not too far down the road from the Wisconsin Dells, home of our next guest in his business, Precise Auto and Truck Accessories in Wisconsin Dells. Let's welcome in racer Mike Gruenberg. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for finally making the time, man. It's been hard to get you on because you've been super busy.
We have been busy, but it was close to home. Made the schedule work, and we're here.
Oh, man, it's got to be neat knowing that the season's almost winding down, but your season never ends at Precise Auto and Truck Accessories. What have you guys been working on lately?
Lately, we do, a lot of window tint. With the cooler temps coming, we're starting to get into our remote start season and our heated seats. So the dealers, retail is keeping us busy.
So you don't just have people coming into your shop. You have clients that are businesses, whether it be new car sales or used car sales, saying, here's 6 cars, put your stuff to work.
That is correct. We have several dealers up in the area. Don Larson is one of our good dealers that we work with. Also, along with, Kaiser Ford Sauk and Baraboo Motors. So,
wow.
Yeah, we do very well for them guys, and we're happy to service them.
For those who don't know, Mike races a late model at Jefferson Speedway primarily, but in your family business time, Precise Auto and Truck Accessories in Wisconsin Dells, you guys offer, I think you told me, over 1 million different parts you could possibly get for a vehicle to upfit or impress or make it look different or to the customer's liking, don't you?
That is correct. We have access to over 1 million accessories for any make, model vehicle. If it's ordered by 5 o'clock the night before, we can have it for the next day and set up install.
What kind of fun things do you guys get to do these days? I know when I was in the shop, you guys are doing a lot of window tinting.
We're still doing a lot of window tinting. That's very popular, great business to have. We do a lot of tonneau covers, a lot of Nerf bars. You name it, we're doing it.
And when it comes to the leather seating, talk about how intricate that can be, because what you guys do is really, when it's done, it's awesome. What does it look like before, and what's the attraction of putting leather in a car?
So when you order a vehicle or you go and buy a vehicle and it just ain't what you want, a customer wants leather interior in their vehicle. Well, now if you want leather interior in your vehicle, you have to have a moonroof and all these other options. And sometimes it's $15,000 of an option for you to get leather interior. So the dealers or the customer will come to me themselves and order them either a factory matched leather kit, or they can customize their own leather, and I take out the upholstery and then I reupholster it with leather.
So if my favorite colors are black and red and I've got a white car, I can get a black and red interior from you guys, and it's leather.
That is correct.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What kind of crazy things have you been working on just this week, Mike?
This week has been, yesterday was tint, obviously. Today we had a bed liner, and then obviously I made the night free to be on this show.
Yeah, it's one of your jobs, and as well as racing to Jefferson Speedway's second in points this year in late models. When I say guys, I really mean it's you and your wife and your son, right? That's kind of making this work go around with the Precise business?
For the Precise business, yeah, the racing world really involves my dad. If it wasn't for my dad, I probably wouldn't be making it a whole lot on Saturday nights, as I am busy working full-time and run my business. So my dad does a lot of preparing on our race cars that we have, and then I show up for one day and sit in it and get skilled and bleed brakes. So really hats off to my dad for
That's a big advantage for you to
Yeah.
be able to manage all that. And your son plays travel sports as well, so it's got to be like, what do we balance? We balance everything, right?
Yeah, and now it's really getting hectic. My son plays football, so Grandpa's got him at football tonight, so I could be here, and so now we're balancing football and racing for the next couple weeks, and then it'll move on to wrestling and basketball.
You guys get a lot done in the time you have at Precise Auto and Truck Accessories. For those who are interested in finding out more about your business, whether it be stopping by or giving you a call, what would be the best way to get a hold of you guys?
They can call us, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30. I'm there later.
Yeah.
I will answer the phone. Otherwise, I do have a website at www.preciseautoandtruckaccessories.com.
And when it comes to getting the work done, you guys also have to keep in track of the trends, right? What's the latest thing? Or this business now has, the tonneau cover business now might have just a snap together unit versus a spray in or whatever. All those things, you got to stay on top of that game, don't you?
Right, yeah, that is correct. But our reps do a very good job on coming in and communicating everything with us with the new latest and greatest of, the tonneau covers, the Nerf bars, wheel well liners, stuff like that. So big hats off to them, and keeps us up to date where we can keep our customers happy.
It's got over a million things you can do to your vehicle. PreciseAutoandTruckAccessories.com. Mike, let's talk racing for a minute now. You've had a big season. You've been doing this for a while now, running late models at Jefferson Speedway. How much fun was there to be had this season now that the points championship is decided?
I had a lot of fun this year. Jefferson Speedway is obviously not my home track, but it has been my home track for the last 10 years. I was growing up around Madison being my home track, and I love Jefferson. 1 and 2 is a totally different corner than 3 and 4, and it's the place that I call home now.
And when it comes to competition, man, there's a lot of drivers that want to take that purse money away from you. How was your season thus far, and how many times did you grab the big check?
We grabbed the big check twice this year, set 3 fast times, handful of heat wins, possibly should have maybe had one on Saturday night that got taken away from us, but we move on, and we'll see them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Jefferson Speedway's got a lot of things going on throughout the year. As a matter of fact, into the fall, there's more racing to be had. When it comes to racing at Jefferson Speedway, what do fans need to worry about the most, or maybe where's the best seat to watch?
There ain't a bad seat in that house. It's an action track. It's called the action track for a reason. I mean, you go into 3 and 4, and you'll be 3, 4, 5 wide, and hopefully you come out smelling like a rose, because you'll get sent to the back if something happens. But it's an action-filled place, and I recommend coming and watching a race there.
Mike Gruenberg joining us here for a few minutes on the Racing Roundup Show. The big door number 1 on the side of the car has other decals as well. Who else is supporting your car along with your dad and making this season happen?
Yeah, I got to thank Hogan Farms. He's been with me for a long time. Carla and Rich Morchauser. They've been with me for a long time as well. Club Lamarck is one of my big sponsors as well. Obviously my business. And Wayne Ace Bus and Limo Service. And then we got Dave's White Rock, which is my uncle. Dave Gruenberg owns that. Benninger Concrete Construction out of DeForest. And then Lee's powder coating.
Nice. A lot of good folks behind you.
Yeah.
Great to see you. How about a big hand for Mike Gruenberg, everybody, joining us here on the Racing Roundup Show. We wish you well in the coming weeks at Jefferson Speedway. Thanks, Mike, for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back with more on this edition of the Racing Roundup Show right after this. Come on in, Terry Tucker. We got a lot to talk about here. Jefferson Speedway, Terry Tucker, the man in charge. We got some big races coming up here, Terry. I want to welcome you in because Mike's sitting next to me on this side. You're on this side, and you got some tickets to give away for the folks joining us here at Utica Bar. That's awesome. We also are joined by the Rucks, Cliff and his son, Robbie. Guys, thanks for coming down. Robbie's got that mic. Cliff put that headset on. Terry put that headset on. Yeah, we're dealing. We're dealing 5 wide here, 5-card stud, right? We got all the big players with us. Cliff Rocks, his son Robbie, and the owner of Jefferson Speedway, Terry Tucker, joining us. Guys, thanks for being on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Terry, what's on the schedule? The sheet in front of you says this is the big one. Wisconsin State Championships are coming up in a week and a half's time.
I want to start this thing off by saying, Mr. Gruenberg, I congratulate you for being a class act. And I apologize personally and on behalf of Jefferson Speedway for making a miserably bad call last week. You had that race pretty much in your pocket, and a bad call took it away from you. I am deeply saddened by that. Yes, we have a big one coming up on the 20 and 21st, the 44th Annual Wisconsin State Championships. In some ways, it's probably the most brutal end-of-year show there is. We had so many cars last year that we had to split it into 2 weekends. The first weekend has the Midwest trucks on Friday. We have the Jefferson-style late models, sportsmen, and hobby stocks on Friday and Saturday. And the state championship is predicated on the best finishes out of 3 features, 1 on Friday and 2 on Saturday, and qualifying is the tiebreaker. And we have had just the most incredible competition over the last dozen-odd years between people like Casey Johnson, Jason Erickson, Michael Gruenberg, the Shield brothers, Riley Stenjum. I mean, just go down the list of the top-notch late models and the top-notch sportsmen, including last year Mr. Weber won from the La Crosse area, but Jason Toma, Mark DePorter. It's been just an absolute who's who of racers. In the hobby stock division, there's absolutely no decent, hot hobby stock that does not want to win this race. And then they have to go through Robbie Rux and a whole bunch of other good guys to do that. I am proud to say that I will match my field of cars up against any racetrack's field of cars in the state of Wisconsin.
We got racers here. You mentioned Robbie's here, Michael's here. We got Emily Billings who's going to race on the second weekend. What's going on second weekend because you got expanded now?
The second weekend, we basically are doing the non-8-cylinder cars. We're doing the Internationals, the Bandits, the Legends, the Bandoleros, and the 6-shooters. And it's a marvelous event. Participation looks really strong. We averaged 30 Bandoleros a race at Jefferson, close to 30 Bandits. International cars are in the 20s, but we're hoping to grab a few cars from central Wisconsin to come down and give it a shot. We understand the international class is a tough class. Most of the really good ones race at Jefferson, Mark English, etc. And it's a tough go for someone to come in and beat a good racer on their home track.
Yeah.
There is a home field advantage. But this weekend for them is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to give us time to do it right. And frankly, we're going to do everything we can to get the international Bandoleros, Bandits, Legends, and 6-shooters the type of public recognition that they deserve, because the future of auto racing starts at the ground level and works its way up. If you focus on the top, you're missing the point.
Terry, what kind of tickets did you give away? You bring along tonight to give away to the folks watching our show here at Utica Bar? What you got?
I have got 2 free tickets to the state championship to the first person that can come up and tell me who was the very first racer from Jefferson Speedway to qualify for the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, all right.
The very first one.
Let's just stew on that. They're all conspiring now. They're up. You can't Google it now, right? I don't know if it's. She's on her phone right now. Mike, how much fun is that knowing that you got 2 big days, September 2021, coming to Jefferson Speedway, your home turf with a bunch of good racers piling in on the track you like to race at?
I always like that event. I'm excited for it. I feel that I have a great piece. Johnson's always tough there. Nottestad's always tough there. And I feel like my dad and I have a piece that we can possibly take them down.
Sounds like a good challenge to have. September 2021. Cliff Rux, you're in charge of making sure it all goes right. Terry's out there putting out the front of the house. You're in the pits making sure everything runs right. How much of a challenge is this for you, and how long have you been doing the competition side of things at Jefferson?
It's my 10th year. It's difficult, but it's actually a really good team effort at Jefferson, and I've even tried to help out at other tracks too. But I try to make a point of talking to guys like Mike and Casey and different things when it comes to rules or changes or ideas, because these guys travel around, they have good ideas too. So it's and then bring that to Terry Tucker, and he's the final. That's the Supreme Court, so he's the final decision on things.
Are you going to sleep at the track, or do you sleep at all at the track?
There isn't much sleeping at the track over the weekend. No, a little bit. It's either the nerves of Robbie racing. It still makes me nervous, and then just all the questions I get nonstop. My phone is always buzzing all weekend. So, now both weekends.
Yeah, 2 weekends of racing, September 2021, and then 27, 28 is when those non-8-cylinder cars are running. Robbie, what's going to be your biggest challenge on the 2 weekends of racing upcoming at Jefferson?
That's going to be a tough one for me. We're going to run the truck and the hobby both on Friday night, so that's probably going to be pretty tough for both of us, getting both things situated and getting them both pretty quick. But I'm looking forward to it. I like the challenge.
What do you enjoy about the Midwest Truck Series, especially at Jefferson Speedway?
I just like that everyone's pretty much got the same thing, and everyone's got to deal with the same problems. And late models are pretty close to that. And I just like the truck series because I think it's a good group of guys, and I like the series.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys on with our show. Terry, thank you for bringing down the flyers. Leave some here. We got tickets to give away. If you know the answer, you got to be here. We got one guesser over here. We're going to take a commercial break and come back with more guests and more content. But first, let's have a nice big round of applause for Terry Tucker, Robbie Rux, Cliff Rux, and Mike Gruenberg. Guys, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Racing Roundup Show. We'll be back with more on Utica's Hangout Patio. Make sure you join the racing crowd here on a given Tuesday or Saturday, any night of the week. We'll be right back.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Share what you love about short track racing on our Facebook page and on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We'll be right back with more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Since 1997, Weir's Machine has been innovating the finest products in the racing industry. We also manufacture the Ultra Force load machines and develop the Ultra Force suspension software, which allow you to take your program to the next level. Proudly made in the USA, champions across the country choose Weir's Machine and Ultra Force to take them to victory lane. Shop now at weirsmachine.com and ultraforcetech.com.
Adams Towing offers expert heavy-duty towing services for the entire state of Wisconsin from their Plover headquarters. Since 1961, 3 generations of heavy-duty towing specialists and racing supporters have provided towing, flatbed, and reload service, plus winching and upright, long boom service, truck starting, and cleanup. Adams Towing proudly sponsors Ryan Farrell's Super Late Model team. Put Adams Towing and their experienced team and their fleet of heavy-duty tow trucks and rollbacks to work for you. Call Adams Towing today at 715-344-3836.
It's the granddaddy of short track racing in the Midwest. It's the 55th running of the Oktoberfest race weekend. October 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Don't miss the intense competition as drivers throughout the nation converge at La Crosse Speedway for 4 days of great stock car racing. On Thursday, C6 divisions compete, including Super Late Models, Sportsman, and double features for the La Crosse Late Model. Friday, 3 divisions will grind it out, including the Super Late Models and the popular Dick Trickle 99. A 99-lap race run in 3 33-lap segments. Then on Saturday, 3 divisions, including the ASA Midwest Tour Late Model. And then it's the Big 8 Late Models battling for their season championship. Sunday we'll see the vintage race cars, late models, plus the granddaddy of all Midwest racing events, the Oktoberfest 200. 200 grueling laps of strategy, maneuvers, and hard-charging racing. Witness challengers and champions from across the nation battle side by side in Wisconsin's oldest and most prestigious short track racing event. Save with a multi-day wristband. There is no other event like it. Be a part of the biggest and most unique racing event of the season. It's the 55th annual Oktoberfest race weekend, October 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Visit OktoberfestRaceWeekend.com for details and advance tickets. Be there.
427-1000 American Foundation. Cracks and leaks in your basement, have no fears. We've been fixing those things for over 60 years. trust and dedication. That's American Foundation.
Call American right now for huge savings.
427-1000. American Foundation.
When we decided to get our crack leaky basement done, I am so glad we called American Foundation. It gave us a sense of confidence, and it gave us our basement back.
And it was the right choice.
Thank you very much. American Foundation Specialist has been fixing basements since 1947. Satisfied customers are the future at American. Call American for huge savings at
427-1000. American Foundation.
Precise Auto and Truck Accessories is your one-stop shop when it comes to adding style and functionality to your vehicles. Owner and late model racer Mike Gruenberg has 15 years of experience installing window tinting, cat skin leather, seat heaters and seat coolers. There's a million accessories available. Ladder racks, trailer hitches, detailing, remote starters, and more. Precise Auto and Truck Accessories in Wisconsin Dells is a WeatherTech Diamond dealer. Bring your vehicle to the trusted guy, Mike Gruenberg at Precise Auto and Truck Accessories.
The Racing Roundup Show is dedicated to showcasing grassroots racers and national stars of our sport. If you're a fan of NASCAR, four-wheel, two-wheel, road racing, drag racing, or the short track scene, you are in the right place. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show.
That's the voice of Dean Strom. He'll join us here in the program in just a few moments. We also want to tell you this portion of the show is brought to you by BMR Electric Carts in Random Lake. Brad Miller is sitting next to me. He's Wisconsin's only Icon electric cart dealer and has in-stock inventory and customizing options available right now on their Facebook page, BMR Electric Carts Company. Icon e-bikes get 25 miles between charges and 25 miles an hour in speed. Also, you want to be cooler on a BMR electric scooter. Yeah, you can do that too. They sell those. Customizing options, discounts because you're watching the show right now with us. Yes, Brad will make at least a $5 deal if you say, I saw it on the Racing Roundup show. You might have to pay him $5 more and I'll cover you. Please, just buy a golf cart, electric cart from BMR Electric Carts Company. Hey, we have prize giveaways after the program. I have this BMR Electric can koozie. I'm going to have Brad sign it. We're going to give that one away. It's been on our set all year long, Bradley.
I brought a whole bunch of them.
Okay, we're going to have Brad sign a few of those. We're giving those away. We got bottles of Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, the pure organic kind right here. We've got tickets, set of 2 4-packs to Dells Raceway Park for the National Short Track Championships this weekend. We also have car washes from Full Service Car Wash, original third-generation locally family-owned business operating out of Milwaukee since 1986. They have locations in Hales Corners, Wauwatosa, Grafton, and West Bend. Unlimited car washes start at just $14.99 a month. Full-service car wash is the best deal for keeping your car clean. We also have race tickets to the Wisconsin State Championship races at Jefferson Speedway, September 19, 20, and 21, and the second weekend, September 27, 28, featuring the Midwest Truck Series on Friday night, September 20th. And Terry Tucker was just on our program, if you missed it. He asked a trivia question before we went to commercial break. I have to give the answer now. Terry got some really good guesses from folks. Who was the first driver that raced at Jefferson Speedway to compete in the Indianapolis 500? The guesses during the commercial break were Stan Fox, Tom Bigelow, a couple other guys I didn't hear the answer about, but nobody got it right. So Terry wrote down the answer for me to keep you not in suspense any longer. The gentleman who raced at Jefferson Speedway, the first guy to ever race at Jefferson and compete in the Indy 500, was in 1966. Graham Hill won the race. Gary made the show. Gary Condon is the name of the guy who raced at Jefferson Speedway and also raced as the first driver from Jefferson to race in the Indy 500. And according to Terry, he passed away the year later in a crash at Winchester Speedway. The sprint car went out of the joint, so Gary lost his life there. So Gary was the answer to the trivia question, and now we got 2-day passes to give away to somebody else. Nobody won them here yet. We'll give those away after the show. Come on down and join us. We're at Utica Bar in the middle of everywhere, in the middle of nowhere. Jason Schuler and Becky own the place. We're hanging out with you, having a ball, and we're looking forward to seeing you here on a given, whatever night of the week. They got a big deal coming up. The Wisconsin Badgers homecoming is Saturday, October 20th. They're doing a big to-do here. They have bands right where we're sitting on occasion as well, mostly on Sundays. So enjoy the weather, enjoy the great fun. And tonight is Tuesday, which means it's homemade pizza night. So come out and come hungry. A lot of folks enjoy eating here as well as hanging out with their friends at Utica Bar. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show. Glad to be with you at the Utica Bar here on a beautiful evening of racing. Yeah, we're talking about a lot of racing. A lot of racing yet to come. Matter of fact, they're racing this weekend at Jefferson Speedway in the Midwest Truck Series. Let's welcome in 3 of the combatants. Okay, 2 of them, and one guy kind of runs the place. Let's welcome the Midwest Truck Series representatives, John Wood, Kevin Canizzi, and Brad Miller. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure.
John, you got 2 big races coming up.
We got
Friday, September 20th, Jefferson Speedway.
World famous Jefferson Speedway.
Right.
With Terry Tucker as our host. Certainly appreciate that. He's a great guy to get along with if you know him well enough. And we like joking back and forth and such, but he appreciates that, and we certainly appreciate him.
There's a lot of divisions racing. You guys usually join 3 or 4 divisions. Now it's going to be a big festival of speed. That's got to be a somewhat stressful at times because you have limited track time, and you got to go when you got to go, right?
Exactly. And it's not official yet, but next year on the championship weekend, we may race both nights.
Oh, all right.
So there'll be some excitement.
Yeah. Right now you're racing this Friday night, September 20th, correct?
Yes, sir.
At Jefferson Speedway?
Yep.
Wrapping up at Oktoberfest as well. Kevin Canese, you've been on a run lately. Thanks for bringing your truck here to Utica Bar to show off to the fans in attendance. But talk about your recent runs and getting it right and getting on that podium.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. And, we're starting to get things put together. Had a couple of weird scenarios this year. Broke a trailing arm at Slinger. Had a flat tire last weekend. So, but the week before that was good. We were in Madison, got 3rd place. I think the driver was the problem in that one, though. I'm not sure. I thought Brad was driving for a second there, but we're starting to get things clicking off. So looking forward to the next 2 races and then again next year.
Kevin Canese races full-time with the Midwest Truck Series. Looking forward to ending the season strong. And, John, we talk about these drivers. We talked about Robbie Rux, a young driver that's coming to the series and running as many as he can. I mean, this is neat knowing you've got some talent that continually finds a way to race with the Midwest Truck Series.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, it's so exciting, like a young man like Robbie, as well as he does with the trucks. I mean, proud of him. He just won his Hobby Stock Championship 2 years in a row. Definitely an up-and-comer. We have other people here tonight. Riley Senjum, he drove in the trucks. Bradley, he's driven in the trucks that done quite well. I wish I could get him full time, but
not a chance.
Yeah. Hey, I'll pay you.
Wow, we're making deals.
Now we're talking.
I've been here a long time. What the heck?
And another thing is, I do want to announce that next year Bradley is going to be BMRI is going to be supplying a electric cart for the Midwest Truck Series. You don't know it yet, but he's going to be.
Did the boss make that deal?
Wow, I guess. You've been talking to my wife, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I knew it.
So, and I am teasing, but Bradley's a great friend of mine, and we do have one of his pit bikes for our guys that run around in the pits with, and it's a great help for them. I want to let them drive my golf cart.
And Drew, I think, has upfitted his scooter. It's going really fast, and he doesn't slow down.
Yeah, they go 25 miles an hour. I don't think we're letting Casey drive his that fast yet, but a lot of guys have pulled him up to that speed.
Yeah. Casey's right down the road. His shop's right down the road, so I'm sure he can do a drag race to Utica Bar and back, and you wouldn't even know it.
For sure.
Yeah.
But back to a serious note, like Robbie, for example, and we got some other younger drivers that have been started this year. Tale has it we got some new ones coming in next year. It's just so exciting. I love these young guys coming in. I mean, it's a good stepping stone per se for them. And we got the guys that's where they want to end up is racing there.
Yeah, Kevin, talk about that. I mean, you are committed to running these races. You're getting your truck ready. You don't know who might show up on a given night. You also got some really good veteran competition that continue to say, okay, you want to play with us? You better be ready.
Yeah, actually, pretty much all the drivers are really good drivers. It's interesting. I think a lot of guys get into this series, they all just jump in the trucks. They're easy. And then they get in there and realize that, holy cow, we're all the same speed. We're within hundreds of seconds in qualifying, and you're out there driving against these guys. And quite frankly, I think the biggest thing is rules are followed, and the drivers respect one another. And that's across the board, regardless of how much experience they have. So it's a really good series, and I can't say enough about the work John does and Drew does to get it there. But, being in a series where that, hey, some guy did something, whatever, it keeps us all honest, keeps us all, hardcore and figuring out how to make their stuff better. So,
Brad Miller is also a part-time driver, as we talked about, in the Midwest Truck Series. We talked to you at Wisconsin International Raceway on a Tuesday night before you went out there and raced really good. Really good.
That was a fun race.
Yeah. You and Grant Griesbach were a great entertaining show to watch.
It was.
When it comes to racing in this series, we'll talk about some other things you're doing as well. But racing with these Midwest Truck Series guys and gals, how much fun is that, knowing that this is something you want to do, you want to pursue, and you get a chance to race against some really good competition?
Well, we've had this truck now, I think it's been 4 years. 21 we bought it. And we only do 4, 5, 6 races a year, but the ones we go to are ones that we plan on going to because we know it's going to be a good time and the competition's going to be good, and it's usually a really stacked field. And I'm telling you, when you go, like for instance, like the Dells last fall, it was top 3 truck in practice. Thought, yeah, we got her made. I had to run the B main. Twice in a row I had to run the B main there. That's how close this is in this truck series. It's great. It's a great stepping stone for guys to get off 8-inch tires or get that stuff. And it's also a great, form to get out, if the guys are getting it's really getting too expensive to super late race. But I want to be in a series that's really, really competitive and a lot of fun. This is it. We've had this truck 4 years now. I have no intentions of selling it. Kevin and I own it together. And every time we go to the track, and I had a gentleman interested in it, and my wife says to me, she goes, "You're not selling that thing, are you?" She goes, "I love going to those truck races. They're a blast." So, needless to say, we're going to keep it.
Kevin is Kevin Barker, who is also part of your super late model on pavement at Slinger Super Speedway. How'd this year go for you?
We've had a really great year at Slinger. We had a couple misfortunes earlier in the year, and then we cut a tire down with 2 nights to go, but we've had a really, really fast piece the last 3-4 nights. So, we won the Slinger Nationals by default. We won a feature Dale Kawicki Memorial race a couple weeks ago. And last week before, we had a really good car, but I made a bad decision in traffic, and then I got hung up behind a couple guys, and I was mad at myself for it. But we had a car to win the race, but it is what it is.
And it's the first time we've had a chance to officially congratulate you on another Plymouth Dirt Track Championship. That's got to be exciting knowing you bagged another one.
Yeah, we got another one. That was pretty cool. It's our 6th one, so yeah, we're pretty happy to 2 years in a row here. So we go back there a week from Saturday. The Jimmy Wildman Watson Memorial Race will be there next Saturday. It's a Dirt Kings race, so look forward to going there all the time. It's 15 minutes from home, and it's easy.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you got to follow along. Go to our website, racingroundupshow.com, to find out the link to these great races and racetracks, and also support these sponsors, including Midwest Truck Series. How about a big hand for John Wood, Kevin Knizia, and Brad Miller joining us here today on the Racing Roundup Show. Thanks, guys, for being on.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We'll be right back with more on this edition of the Racing Roundup Show.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
We'll take a commercial break. Back with more racers in a moment. Hang out with us at the Utica Bar. We'll be right back.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Contact us on our website, racingroundupshow.com. We'll be right back with more of the Upper Midwest and Wisconsin racing scene, NASCAR, and the world of motorsports. Get ready to accelerate your productivity with the Midwest's largest forklift distributor. Walter Inc. offers top-tier brands, including Lindy, Doosan, and Bobcat forklifts. With 16 locations across the Midwest, Walter is the go-to source for high-performance forklifts and material equipment handling solutions, and is fueled by a passion for short-track racing. Count on Walter's 60-plus years of experience to increase your productivity. Walter is hiring, too. Explore the unbeatable lineup of forklift solutions and more at walterinc.com.
Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment is a fully equipped parts, sales, and service dealer of quality mowers, snow throws, trimmers, chainsaws, and more. Olson services what they sell, does warranty service work on big box store mowers, and their expert service technicians are ready to get your equipment running right. Put their stock parts department and friendly, knowledgeable staff to work for you. Visit the racers at Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment today at 14323 West College Avenue, just 1 mile east of Moreland Road in Muskego. Olson'sPower.com. Olson's Power Equipment.
Automatic Transmission Design is located in Germantown, Wisconsin. They've been hard at work the last 15 years in perfecting the best performance racing transmissions and converters. The folks at ATD have made it possible to offer the best quality and most affordably priced winning components for off-road, drag racing, truck pulling, and circle track applications. ATD may not be the biggest or most famous company in the marketplace, but they have the will and put in that extra effort to provide you with the best products available. ATD's certified technicians go through a comprehensive quality checklist on every transmission and converter they build. Then it's tested on their in-house dyno. Only then is the product ready for shipment to the customer. ATD takes these steps to provide you with the best quality products every time. They are 100% guaranteed. Their no returns policy makes sure it's right the first time. The next time you need a performance transmission or converter, give Charlie a call at 262-251-7777 or visit autotransdesign.com.
Jiffy Lube has locations across Wisconsin to serve you. Visit jiffylube.com to locate your store and to find the latest coupons and promotional offers. You're greeted by a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Grab a water or coffee and know you and your vehicle are in good hands. Windshield wipers, new tires, and alignments are a few of the many services offered. Jiffy Lube proudly features Pennzoil. There's a whole lot more than no appointment drive-up oil changes at Jiffy Lube. Welcome to personalized car care. Wisconsin race fans, find your store at jiffylube.com.
Organize like the pros with Hefner Racing products. Take your trailer to the next level. Upgrade your garage, streamline your shop. Whether you're tearing up the track or tackling home projects, Hefner Racing Products has you covered with the best made and widest variety of organizational accessories made right here in Wisconsin. Shop online now at hrpracing.com.
Mower Series at Olson Outdoor Power is raising the bar on performance with smarter controls, longer run times, and more comfort. Add in layaway and financing from Olson's, and there's no lawn you can't conquer. Buy the best from the best. Gravely at Olson's Outdoor Power, Muskego.
Check out our website, racingroundupshow.com, to watch show archives, see photos from decades of our program, and links to support our awesome show advertisers. Now let's get back to more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Welcome back to a Tuesday evening. Thanks to Hogan Farms for presenting our D'Angelo's Construction Roadshow. We're at Utica Bar at the corner of B and W in Utica, Wisconsin. The mailing address is Cambridge, home of Matt Kenseth and a couple other famous guys like these two next to me. We'll get to them in a moment. I want to remind you this portion of the program is brought to you by Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup. It's the short track spotlight with two drivers that raced across the state of Wisconsin. Thanks to our friend at Anderson's Maple Syrup. They're a proud sponsor and supporter of World of Outlaws racer Bill Baylog and modified pilot Jason Gross. Try Anderson's in your coffee or tea or vanilla ice cream. Take it with you with Pure Fuel, Maple Energy on the go. You can buy Anderson's Maple Syrup online at andersonsmaplesyrup.com or at your favorite grocer. Anderson's, over 95 years of syrup perfection. This week's Anderson's Maple Syrup Spotlight shines on Jason Schuler and Brian Hoppy. That's a big tease, though, because our own Dean Strom joins us. He's the reason why we're here. And, Dean, there's a lot to talk about in the world of short track racing. Welcome, Dean.
I thought Joe Hogan and Jason Schuler were the reason why we're here.
Well, yes, but it was also your idea in the middle of winter to say, we got to go to Utica. We got to do a show here.
Jim, it's time for the Bonafide Security Solutions Short Track Report. For cameras and alarm systems for your home or business, program card access, custom-made security doors, on-call locksmith work, and more. It's a lock. Support the racers at Team Bonafide by calling 262-790-9400 or go online, bonafidesafe.com. Bonafide protects what you value. Our DRP coverage tonight, sponsored by Diamond Wheels, your destination for stock car, road racing, autocross, beadlock wheels, for off-road and dirt track, custom chrome finished wheels, and more. It is DiamondRacingWheels.com. This past Saturday night, champions were crowned in all weekly divisions at Dells Raceway Park. Congrats to late model champ Mike Litchfield, 602 Outlaw late model champ Dennis Prunty, Matthew Pate in the Modifieds, recent show guest Dave Trout in the Sportsmans, Jeremy Bredesen in the Bandits, and Scott Elider from Boston in the Sixer Nation Street Stocks, and of course Gracie Flanagan for her High School Racing Association Championship at DRP. This weekend, I heard you talking about it before, Jim, huge National Short Track Championship race weekend at Dells Raceway Park. One great racing weekend, 11 divisions racing over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. There's a big practice for all divisions on Thursday from noon to 6:30. This is the big one that used to take place at the Rockford Speedway. You can get details at DellsRacewayPark.com. If you can't be there, and we want you to be there, but if you can't, you can live stream it with our friends at pitrow.tv. Congrats to Wilmot Raceway's Street Stock champ, Blake Kreuzer, who capped off his championship season with a feature win on Saturday night. Derek Crane won the Wisconsin Wingless Sprints feature over Jimmy Sivia. Derek was the 9th different wingless feature winner this season. CJ Malag won the winged 604 Crate Sprinters 20-lapper, his third of the season. And congrats to Steve Miller for bagging another modified feature victory, this time starting in the 8th position. CKContractorsLLC.com brings us to Wilmot Raceway and Wisconsin Wingless Sprints coverage. Hire the pros at CK Contractors for Lake Michigan shore restoration, lot grading, excavation, retention pond building, and a whole lot more. Visit CKContractorsLLC.com to learn more. Next weekend at Wilmot, September 19, 20, and 21. Huge dirt track racing weekend. Fall Classic on the Kenosha County Fairgrounds. All 3 days of racing starting Thursday, September 19th. 9 divisions. Over 3 nights include the MSA 360s, wingless sprints, open sanction 410 sprints, and modifieds. More details at WilmotRaceway.com. Jim?
Dean?
Driver X,
John Reynolds Jr.
John Reynolds Jr. Finished 6th in the feature.
Every time we have to do it, Jason. Every time.
Every time?
You want to do
Every
it?
time.
Jason, did you do it?
He did.
I did.
Driver X.
All right, Driver X. Yeah.
Brian's deferring. There may be a story behind that.
He ain't been around in
He
a while.
finished sick.
Could have raced with his old man and had some issues at Rockford. I don't know. Yeah.
John Reynolds Jr. finished 6th in the feature and won the late model track championship Sunday afternoon at the Slinger Super Speedway. Dennis Prunty ran 2nd in the feature and was crowned Slinger's inaugural 602 Craters track champion. Jake Schroffnagel won his 2nd straight Slinger Super Speedway track championship, that in the sportsman division. Ricky Gebhardt finished 7th in the Slinger Bees feature and was crowned champion. Scott Gatsky won his 100th figure 8 race Sunday in thrilling fashion over Shane the Shark Becker, and Gatsky was also the track champion. This year, our Slinger Super Speedway results brought to you by Ricardo's Pizza, located in downtown Greendale since 1970. Ricardo's is owned by racer Richie Locke and his family. Ricardo's Pizza takes pride in their dough, made fresh daily, fresh produce, signature sauce, and the best Wisconsin cheeses. Order the best at ricardosgreendale.com. Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup sponsored Bill Baylog, fresh off his 3rd place run in the Huset's High Bank Nationals in South Dakota, won his heat race. World of Outlaw Sprint Car competition last Friday night at California Stockton Dirt Track. The North Pole Nightmare then finished 6th in the A-Main behind race winner and last week's Racing Roundup show guest Buddy Kofoid. Then on Saturday night, Baylog set fast time at Kings Speedway in Hansford, California. Finished 4th in his heat, but was a scratch for the feature. Bobby Pierce bagged his 2nd World 100 Saturday night at Eldora Speedway and the $57,000 top prize.
He was impressive on flow. I was watching it, man. He was really good.
Race featured 8 lead changes among 4 different drivers. It all happened in front of the largest ever crowd at Eldora Speedway. Also on World 100 weekend, former USAC open wheel standout Levi Jones was announced as the new new general manager for Eldora. And finally, Jim, this Thursday is the final street drags on pit road, Madison International Speedway. You can get more details there at misracing.com.
And we cover the world of motorsports. In Florida, there was a race that was called the Lead Up to the Big League, and it was actually won by Johnny Sauter of Freedom Factory Racetrack. It was a UARA late model race, and Johnny won that with a couple of Wisconsin guys around him. And Johnny's here, so we'll talk to him about that.
Yeah.
So as we cover things, we cover all sorts of things. This Saturday, I'll be hanging out with the ASA Stars National Tour. That'll be happening at Toledo Speedway, Glass City 200 on Saturday. So make sure you check out tracktv.com for that. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Dean's going to hang out with us a little bit longer because you know why?
If you don't mind.
He's known you guys longer than I have.
I'm kind of nervous.
It's been a long time,
I'm kind of
Jason.
nervous, though.
Dean, what do you want to? Well, thank you, Jason, for having us because it was Dean's idea to come here.
Jeez,
Hans Lean owned the place. Hans Lean owned the place at the time, and then we made the deal happen.
I stumbled upon the place out and about, and then you come to Utica, and you're like, well, you got to go to the Utica Bar.
Yeah.
Because they sponsor so many race cars, you got to go to the Utica Bar, and it was outstanding.
How much fun has it been, Jason, taking over the ownership, and your wife has been involved in the management side, but now you guys get to run this every day.
She pretty much does everything. I mean, I'm not going to even try and take any credit.
It's got to be fun, though, being with a bunch of racers and knowing that this area has so many good racers that work and race and play here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great location. I've been coming here since I was a kid, and I mean, all the stuff I do here, I don't even really feel like I own it because there's nothing that I do now that I wouldn't have did for Ferdy or Mitch or Helen or for sure Hansi, and so I don't know. It's just fun. I just like everyone here and like coming here and like being a part of it.
What happens here where we are, this little shelter? What might happen here on any given weekend or during the week here at the Utica Bar?
Well, usually we have Sunday fun days, and we're kind of sitting where the band plays.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's usually a good time. Kind of looks like this. Usually cars up and down the road everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Nowhere to park and people everywhere.
But you always seem to make it work. You
Oh,
told
yeah.
me you're in the middle of everywhere, but in the middle of nowhere. I mean, think about this. Joe Hogan told me before the show, down the road half a mile that way is Casey Johnson's dad's race shop. I got it. Riley Stenjum literally drove his race car here from 3 properties away. We'll talk to Riley on the show about that. We are 4 miles from the Hogan Farm homestead. We also have Jacob Nottestead a mile and a half that way, and Tristan Furseth, I think, could have pushed his Wisconsin Winglets car here. We are in the hotbed of racing, man. Not just the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say too much about driving the race cars here.
Sounds like a property owner here that has to keep everybody happy. Hey, speaking of happy, we're so happy that you guys, they had a family wedding. They're brother-in-laws. Becky is his wife. Becky's his sister. Brian Hoppy is on the show, I think, for the first time in, 20 years or so. Brian, thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for being in Wisconsin to make it happen.
Yeah, this happened by chance. I didn't know anything about it, and then Saturday night we were at the wedding, and he's like, hey, why don't you come over on Tuesday? So here we are.
We didn't delay your trip back to North Carolina where you live now, did we?
No, sir.
All right.
No.
That's cool.
That's tomorrow.
Okay.
Head back tomorrow.
Dean, you know these guys a long time. Brian, a champion in the NASCAR Midwest Elite Division. I mean, he's won a bunch of races.
1999 champion.
Yep. I saw you race in the ASA National Tour races. You did a lot of things. I did see you race there.
Yeah, I don't know that much of that was racing. I was on the track.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Jason, you've been racing a ton of stuff as well. I mean, when you got into racing, I knew you first as the guy that when Matt Kenseth got out of his late model, you bought that. You went to high school with Matt. When Matt got out of his first super late, you bought that and raced that. Is that kind of how the progression was for you in the early days of your racing?
Well, I started in '88 at Jefferson Speedway in a hand-me-down car from Jim Jarlsberg.
Okay.
And in '90 is when I got that limited late from Matt.
All right.
And then my first super late I actually bought brand new from left-hander.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And now you're a little bit more involved in the chassis business these days. Tell people what you do when you're not here at Utica Bar.
Well, I mean, still build race cars. I built a lot of them over the years for myself, and obviously, once we took over Pathfinder, I built a lot there. And I think we're almost to 500. But yeah,
that's a lot of chassis. A lot of folks depending on Pathfinder chassis. And Dean, tell us something about Brian back in the day. Dean was the PR guy for the NASCAR Elite Midwest Series. So you had the Gatorade cooler full of hats. You ran that. You also had to make up stories on these guys. Anything come to mind when you see Brian Hoppy sitting at the same table, not just sharing a beer with you in Daytona where I saw him last when we were working together?
Brian still, speaking of Gatorade, Brian owes me a Gatorade bottle.
It's in my toolbox. Just looked at it the other day. For real, it's there. I almost took a picture of it and sent it to him.
Because when I would be the first, as the PR guy, you were the first guy to the car.
Yeah.
And I always had the Gatorade bottle, and I filled it with water and set it on the car, gave it to the driver.
It's like the 32-ounce one, not the big.
The big green. It was a green. It's like a sports bottle, right?
Yeah.
And I gave it to him, and it sat when Star Motorsports had the auction.
Yep.
I said, I want something. And he got me the water bottle, and it's been a long time, and I haven't got it.
Yeah, I got to put it together. I got it. Man, we don't see each other all the time, so I got to.
You see each other in great places because of your workplace,
yes.
Your business.
Yep.
And you said, wait a minute, it's in my toolbox? The
Gatorade
Gatorade bottle's in your toolbox.
It's in there, yeah, because that's where I put it. When Star Motorsports shut down, we had to get rid of everything, and so
even
I put
even Gatorade bottles.
Yep. And he's like, oh, I want the Gatorade bottle. So I put it in there. He goes, set me something aside. So I had that for him. And then when I took my toolbox home, I was like, well, I'm going to see him eventually. We'll figure it out. And then now it's in North Carolina. Still in the toolbox, still in the same drawer.
For those of you who don't know, Brian Hoppy hasn't raced in a while. But, man, you were so good for so long in this area. Opportunities came about where you moved to Charlotte.
Yep.
And you worked for several companies, and now you work for a Wisconsin company still living in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Take us through that progression, Brian.
So when the racing shut down, I went to work as a sales rep for AP Brakes, and they wanted to get into the late model side. So I was located perfectly for them with Pathfinder, Left-Hander, Motor State, Port City, all those guys from here around the lake. Howe, Rander Car was involved in, all those. And so I was in a perfect location for that. And then we grew that up and got that going. And then they wanted me to come down. They wanted me to move down and take care of their trucks and Xfinity series because we had the late model side going pretty well. And so then I would come back twice a year and do the late model side, but then I started to take care of the truck side and the Xfinity side for them. And then that progressed into taking care of Cup teams, which then we went along. I had to think about it for a minute. I don't know. It's 14 years I worked for them from 2006 to 2019, somewhere 13, 14 years. And then where I am now with 5-Star came along, where they were working on getting the contract for the new next-gen car for NASCAR, and they wanted somebody permanently in North Carolina that could liaison between the company in Wisconsin and NASCAR and be there for team support, NASCAR support, and then report back and handle all that in between. So then I went to work for them, but I stayed in North Carolina. But I probably get up here 2 to 4 times a year to visit the home office, and then I was able to incorporate the wedding and the home office visit for this. So yeah, I'm up here a few days, and then we'll head back.
That's really cool. Jason, I got to tell you got a lot going on. This is a pretty cool place. Thanks for having us.
Hey, not a problem. I'm glad to have you guys.
How about a big hand for these guys? Jason Schuler, Brian Hoppy, Dean Stroud. We're hanging out at Utica Bar. Brian, great to see you back here in your home state. He's got a lot going on. You mentioned NASCAR. Twin Lakes, Wisconsin, home of 5-Star Stock Car Bodies, NHRA Drag Racing, top few. I mean, you guys have a lot going on, and he's involved in the NASCAR side, and it's great to know that company is continually represented by Wisconsin proud Brian Hoppy. We've got a couple more guests to join us on the program. Once you guys step out, we'll step right back in. I want to tell you about next Tuesday's show while we do that. Thank you, guys. Next Tuesday's program, we're going to be live at another D'Angelo's Construction Road show. It's going to happen in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. It's at the Cellar Bar and Grill, another Oak Creek Automotive Night on a D'Angelo's Construction Night. It's going to be a lot of fun. So join us next Tuesday, September 17th. That information's on our website as well. The Cellar's at 812 West Oakwood Road in Oak Creek. It's an Oak Creek Automotive Night and a car show there. We'll hang out outside as well. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Hang out with the racers next Tuesday for the Cellar D'Angelo's Construction Road Show. It's Oak Creek Automotive Night number 2 on the 2024 season. We're now joined by 2 young and upcoming drivers. They're sitting on either side of me. Let's bring them in right now. Emily Billings races the car sitting behind me, and Tristan First has got the beautiful Wisconsin wingless right up by the road here at Utica Bar. Let's welcome them both to the Racing Roundup Show, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. My first time meeting Tristan, I've seen you race the Wisconsin winglets. Man, you are getting it done. How much fun is that, racing the Wisconsin winglets car with Utica Bar and other sponsors from this area representing you?
Oh, it's awesome.
What do you like most about it?
Just throwing it in sideways.
Well, have you done anything prior to this that gets you ready for racing against 30, 40 cars a night?
I ran go-karts when I was younger, and then I moved up to legend cars and had some success there, but nothing like a sprint car. It was a 180-degree change and took quite a getting used to.
When it comes to learning, there's a lot of veterans that you can learn from, but also you got to get it done when it's your turn kind of thing. What have you guys done this year to accelerate your learning curve?
Just asking around, getting help from others in the pits, and yeah.
How far is your shop from here?
I'd say 2-3 miles.
So when we talk about racers' concentration, we are in the hub of what could be a lot of things you can draw from. Who have you found yourself talking to or learning from the most this year, whether it become your team members or drivers you race with or people you might meet here at Utica Bar?
I mean, yeah, just hanging out at the bar at Utica, you'll learn a lot.
Some things you actually say on the show as well. Some things you can't.
Yeah, but yeah, Wade and Hans, they'll teach you a lot.
Yeah, that's really cool. You got those guys behind you. What is the goal this year? The Wisconsin wingless season is winding down. You got a big Fall Classic coming up next weekend, September 2021 at Wilmot. Is that going to wrap up your season?
No, we're going to be down at Juliet, one at Plymouth, and I believe one at Sycamore too. And we're currently second in points, so hopefully we can keep it up.
That's awesome that you're running against those tough competition and doing that well. Is it one car, one motor you've been running with, or are you guys switching things around?
Yep, that's all we got right there.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Good for you. That's an awesome season to put together here.
Yep.
When it comes to racing this car, who is sponsoring your car? Who's been involved with you guys all season long?
1855 Saloon and Grill with Wade Houston, Utica with Jason, and Hans the year before. He helped me get it into this.
So Hans got you in, and Jason said, let's keep it going.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
And then High Tech Heating and AC out of Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. That's Josh Bryan. And D&D Olson Farms just down the road, my aunt and uncle. And side-by-side contractors also just down the road over in Cambridge. that'd be my other aunt and uncle. And then Deerfield Pistol Center, Scott in Deerfield. And then Madison Street Pub, Corby in Waterloo.
Wow, a lot of people. How about the crew? Who's all helping you make that car go so fast?
Just me and Dad.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Who comes out and cheers you on?
We don't have many fans at Wilmot, which is our main track, so because it's such a haul from Utica. but
you're gaining fans. I know the reaction, and I've seen you race at Wilmot
Yep.
several times now this year, and I'm thinking, man, you got to have people come up and say, nice job, because you are really performing.
Yeah, it's cool to have some people notice us down there, but when we come to Angel Park, we do have quite the crew after the races. We'll get 50 people at the trailer after.
As it should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see you doing this. This is Wisconsin Wingless. You mentioned your background has been in karts, Legends cars. This is Wisconsin Wingless now. What are you thinking about maybe the next step?
Hopefully adding a wing on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Running the same car, running the 604 wing car then.
Either that or maybe a 360.
Okay. All right. All right. Will that happen this year yet?
Oh, no, probably not. No.
All right.
Maybe another year in the wingless and then hopefully get a championship and some more wins.
Good plan. Good plan.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on socials, Tristan?
Tristan First Up Racing on Facebook, and that's it.
Cool. Thanks for being here.
Thank
Stay
you.
there. If you think of anything else, I want to make sure you get your time because it's important for drivers of all ages to get the opportunity to recognize those who help them. This young driver also raced for a championship in the national championships at Hawkeye Down Speedway this past weekend. Emily Billings joins us. And Emily, you were racing very hard Friday.
Yeah.
Racing very hard on Saturday. How'd your weekend go against the national competition in Bandoleros?
Friday went good. We worked our way from 14th up to 3rd at one point and fell back down to 5th. So Friday was a good day. And then on Saturday, we didn't qualify the greatest, but we started 13th and worked my way back all the way up to 3rd. My car started going away at the end of the race, so some people started getting around me. On the last lap coming checkered, I decided I couldn't win the show, so I became the show and took my car for a little tumble.
You flipped the thing over in turn 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming to the checkered.
You were the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You okay?
I'm a good.
If you can't win the show, be the show. That's what Mike Hughes just told you, right?
Yeah.
And that's an amazing phrase. I'm glad to see you got that figured out. Is that your first time you ever flipped?
Yeah.
What was it like?
I don't know. I just seen the sky and then I seen the ground and then I was flipped right back over.
And the cars behind us kind of in the same condition, right?
Yeah. My dad worked pretty hard to get it back together, to get it here. So thanks for that, Dad. And yeah, it's all scratched up.
Yeah, but you've got a chance to race a bunch this year.
Yeah,
the INEX sanctions nationwide the Legends, the Bandoleros, and there's several classes. Your dad was telling me before the show you're in the Bandits division for those drivers ages 7 to 11, and you're in that group now, although you're 12. The cool thing is you get to race against anybody you want, right? Across the nation, you can kind of pick a track and go.
Yeah, I can. It's pretty cool. We traveled all the way down to North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia to go race this year. So it's just been a lot of fun. We traveled with some other fellow racers, so it's just all about also making memories. So it's just been fun this summer.
You got the number 10 on the door. Your grandpa's number 96 on the door. It's kind of cool. The Billings family still gets to go racing together. Who all goes racing with you?
Just my dad normally comes with me to go in the pits and take care of the car, but later on during the night I got some of my family, my mom, my brother, sometimes my aunts and my uncles come out to watch, so yeah.
All right, a couple weeks ago, before Hawkeye Downs and that excitement of being the show, you won the show.
Yeah.
How was it winning a feature at Jefferson Speedway?
It was great. It was my first ever feature win in a bando. I led all 20 laps of the race. There were a lot of cautions in between, a red flag with 5 laps to go. So just anxious, but it all really just built up to the final moment of getting the checkered flag and winning it. So it felt really good just to know that through all the ups and downs of the year, it just kind of all paid off right there.
That's really cool doing it so close to home because you don't live too far from Jefferson Speedway, do you?
No, I think we live about 25 minutes. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but somewhere around that.
She's been doing a lot of racing this year. Dad Brian said 42 races or something like that. What's left on the schedule, you think? Do you know yet?
I think this Saturday we might go to Elko, Minnesota. And then as you were talking about earlier, we just got the state championship left at Jefferson Speedway for 3 races there.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You ready?
I
You got
don't know.
school now, and you got racing now, and you've got all that mix going on.
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
How about the folks you want to thank that are sponsoring your race car? You mentioned Dad helping so much.
Yeah, I want to thank Spankins Motorsports, Benninger Concrete and Construction, Little Family Daycare, Mr. B's Motorsports, Stark's Garage, The Engine Shop, and Walter's Gas Service.
Okay, I asked Tristan what he might want to be doing in the near future. What are you thinking about bandos again next year? Or are you going to work on something else?
I'm going to stick to a bando for most of next year. I think I'm going to move up to a hobby stock when I'm 13, because I can't race that till I'm 13 and I just turned 12. So we can probably race a hobby at the end of next summer. And yeah.
When I look at the table you're sitting with, Bill Ecker was sitting over here. He has a midget. Brandon Welty's sitting at your table. You have a bunch of friends. Stacy over there, you know her. That's Aunt Stacy, and Mike, and then your dad and your mom. I mean, that's a lot of cool people you get to hang around with all the time.
Yeah.
Do they give you advice nonstop? Do you tune them in, tune them out? How do you filter all that? Because there's a lot of people that know how to win races.
Most of the people on the right side from here like me to stick to pavement racing. Most of the people
That's
on
your
the
mom's
left,
area.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
most of the people on the left want me to try a midget. So I mean, when I'm 16, maybe I'll try one. But that needs Mom's approval first. So.
Don't put her anywhere near Brad Miller, because he races a Midwest truck on pavement, he races a dirt late model, and he races a pavement stock car. So I'm thinking that, you might want to talk to him, but they won't want, either one won't talk about that. Then you have to choose at some point, right?
Yeah.
I think she should go race them all. How about a big hand for Emily Bellings joining us here? And Tristan, I got to give you the last word. Anything you thought of before we turn you loose to get back to your friends?
Oh, is that Anderson's hat up front?
That is an Anderson's hat up there, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I noticed that's on Bill Baylog's car.
It is.
Yeah.
And we got some syrup to give away after the show. Anderson's a great sponsor of ours, and you never know.
Yeah, so cool thing. That's kind of made me want to get in a sprint car is Hans had me help on Baylog's team 3 years ago. And,
really?
Yeah, and then after that, I was like, dang, I need one. So
that's cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, big time cool. Again, thanks again for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Tristan Forsyth and Emily Billings. Guys, thanks for being on the program. Back with a couple of Wisconsin legends. I think we have 3 champions joining us next on the show. Stick around.
Thanks for tuning in to the Racing Roundup Show. Check out our website, racingroundupshow.com, and like our show on Facebook. Join us on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We're coming right back after these messages from our awesome show sponsors.
Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln is a great place to watch NASCAR races, Packer games, Brewer games, and to meet up with your friends. Joey and Jim Lynch pride themselves on their friendly hospitality and welcome Racing Roundup listeners to stop in to watch all the races on their 14 TVs and flat screens. Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln has been a longtime supporter of racers, including National Road Racing Motorcycle Champion Dan Volansky. Relax around the big neighborhood bar with 2 pool tables and dartboards surrounded by TVs. Whether you're meeting up before the game, want to watch the races with race fans, or just want to grab a cold one, head to Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln in West Dallas.
For your next purge or project, go with the pros. Source Services. Champion driver of Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Famer Dan Source founded Source Services in 1988 with 1 truck, 1 employee, and a tireless work ethic. Through the dedicated work of Dan and his employees, Source Services LLC is Southeast from Wisconsin's leading waste container rental company. Dropped and picked up by professionals, you can rent a dumpster for up to 60 days. Source Services sorts and recycles to reduce the amount of waste going into landfills. Go with the pros at sourceservices.com.
427-1000 American Foundation.
When your foundation is in need of repair, you need 3 things: an honest opinion, quality work, and fair prices. Call American.
Trust and dedication. That's American Foundation.
Call American right now for huge savings.
427-1000 American Foundation.
Bobby Gutnick and the technicians at Oak Creek Automotive on South 27th Street in Drexel are experts in automotive repair. For 35 years and counting, the Napa Certified Car Care Center at Oak Creek Automotive handles emission testing, tires, and complete auto, truck, and SUV repair. From oil changes to transmission replacement. 414-761-3250 to schedule your free inspection appointment. For all your vehicle repair needs, head to South 27th in Drexel to the experts at Oak Creek Automotive.
Grassroots drag racing is open to everyone at Great Lakes Dragway in Union Grove. Make GLD your home track. Come and enjoy the show or challenge your friends to be part of the show. Bracket racing for all classes and juniors opens this weekend. Pro classes, street classes, and even bikes and sled classes. Check our website for the most updated calendar and upcoming big shows. GreatLakesDragaway.com.
Like our show on Facebook and share our content with other race fans. We hope to see you at one of our upcoming shows too. Join racers, other race fans, and win prizes. Now let's get back to more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup program. This portion is brought to you by the Midwest Truck Series, which is supported by Pathfinder Chassis and Tommy Piccaro Carburetors. Next up for the truckers is this coming Friday, actually next Friday, September 20th, at Jefferson Speedway during the 3-day Wisconsin State Championships. For all the latest news and info on the series, visit MidwestTruckSeries.com. I'm excited to tell you we've got 3 Wisconsin champions among us now here at Utica Bar, hanging out with us thanks to Hogan Farms. We have 1977 ASA National Champion, Dave Watson. We have ASA National Champion and 2016 NASCAR Truck Series Champion, Johnny Sauter. And we have 3-time Midwest Tour Champion, Casey Johnson. How about this lineup, everybody? Thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm pretty fired up. Casey, you got the shortest drive. How much fun is it hanging out here at Utica Bar with your buddies?
Oh, it's pretty fun. You know, back in my younger years, we used to have a lot more fun out here, but now with 3 kids, I mean, I don't get down here like I used to, but definitely a hot spot.
When it comes to racing, you guys have set the bar on many different levels. We talked about the Jefferson Speedway, where you grew into a champion there, and racing now across the Midwest and now the country. How much fun is it knowing that this little, I mentioned the drivers and the teams that are based in this area. It just so happens there's a lot of good racers that come out of this portion of the state of Wisconsin. Talk about the depth that you have, I guess the resources around you to kind of bounce ideas off of or borrow parts from on a given occasion.
Oh, it's crazy around here. Like I say, I mean, like when I was 5 years ago, you know, every other house had a race car. It was nuts. But closest one was always Jason Schuler. You know, I mean, if I needed parts, if he didn't have them, he could make them. So, you know, I mean, he was definitely a good resource to have down there. But no, I mean, the racing's alive and well in Utica, that's for sure.
Casey's the youngest of the 3 when it comes to racing to a high level. Racing a Midwest Tour, that's a goal. Winning championships is another goal. But I'm sitting next to 2 guys over here that kind of set that standard in the generation before and maybe a couple generations before that. How much fun is it knowing that the Wisconsin history is still here with the Sauter name and Dave Watson hanging out with us on a given occasion?
Oh, man, it's still here, and, I mean, that was the golden era. I mean, I'd give anything to racing those guys' era. I mean, that's when racing was racing. I mean, it's still cool to what I get to do, but, you know, it's just a whole different era. I mean, tons of money, and I mean, back in their day, they could build their stuff, they could work on it and make it faster, you know. I mean, and they could progress a lot easier. So I mean, their golden era, or their era, is what I consider the golden era. I mean, it was good to see, you know.
Johnny Sauter won 10 of 20 races in 2001, I believe it was, with Joe Shear Jr. as your crew chief in ASA.
Yeah,
that was a lot of new tracks for you guys the year before, and then that next year, man, you guys were magic. How was that? Go back to that time where it became. You know, people expect the Sauter, you guys raced everywhere all the time. You didn't have a lot of racing in Wisconsin before you tackled that full-time ASA schedule, did you?
Yeah, no, I really didn't. I raced a street stock at the Dells right after high school. Then I moved to lacrosse in a limited late model, or NASCAR late model, I guess they called them back then, and then kind of moved to Minnesota, went to work for Lefevre, and I was a mechanic during the day, and then I worked on the race cars at night. So that's what got me my break to run some ASA races, and that's what Mr. Pinsino hired me to go ASA racing. So I didn't get to do a lot of short track racing around Wisconsin. So, I've only raced at Jefferson once. I've never raced at Plover. There's quite a few places I never raced. So Slinger, I've pretty much only go there during the Nationals every year. So I've probably been there 4 or 5 times. But, just was fortunate to get an opportunity and made the best of it. So we had some success, that's for sure.
And we are fortunate to see that you're making up for it. You've got short track racing still. You're going on. And how about a big hand, guys? He won the Freedom Factory race this past Saturday night. Congrats on that big win.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun.
Richie Waters, Spencer Waters, they shook the car down on Friday. Scott Hansen said it's the hardest he's worked in 40 years on a race car. He showed up and helped out a little bit. You show up Saturday and win the race.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Richie's kid, Spencer, practiced car Friday for a little bit, and they had some trouble. They broke a trailing arm, and I was like, glad I wasn't there for that. But Richie works his butt off. He always prepares the cars. Cars are always immaculate. You could eat off of them. So we've been fortunate to get to run a handful of races a year over the last 1 or 2 years. Ricky Lemon helps us out a lot, and Oak Creek Automotive and some of those guys. So I've raced with Richie, but it was a long time ago, 20 years ago, and then to be able to run a couple of these races over the last year or two has been a lot of fun. So car's been getting better every time we go. So I feel like, the other night that thing was just a rocket, so that was fun to win.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sitting amongst some Wisconsin racing royalty, believe me, Casey Johnson, Johnny Sauter, Dave Watson. Dave, I've seen you take in some races, but I will tell you that as a fan, watching you race that Amsoil Buick at the Milwaukee Mile, I was a Dave Watson fan then, and I still am now, man. You you've done a lot in your racing career. We mentioned that one championship, but, man, it's cool to see you still taking such a strong interest in racing here in Wisconsin.
Well, it's like they alluded to earlier here. We were so fortunate to be in the golden era. And we talk about you never got to run at Jefferson or what. You don't know what you're missing because this is what's at. And for the ASA example, we ran 65 races that year and with the same car and was able to win the ASA championship, 3 or 4 feature wins, and ran 99% of the laps to win the series. So, and we had some competition back then also. We had deal with Trickle and Sauter and Joe Shear and whatever, name them. So.
Yeah, and this guy named Mark Martin decided I'm going to go racing in Wisconsin to learn something. And the first guest he had on his podcast, he did this several years ago now, he talked about his racing career, went year by year, and the first guest outside of him talking about himself was Dave Watson. Yeah, he said, I got to have Dave on the show.
Yeah.
You guys sat down and had a good time. I loved listening to your stories.
Yeah, we had, he really did. When he realized he wanted to be a race driver, they weren't doing it in Arkansas. One night a week or every other week on dirt. So when he started coming here, I mean, he cut his teeth here because we raced 4 or 5 nights a week. He could come up here, him and Banjo and his dad once in a while, and spend a week and get in 5 or 6 races and then go home and lick their wounds because they weren't hurting us that bad in the beginning. Yeah.
When it comes to racing, though, and learning that fine art, Dave, I've seen you at racetracks, and you're interested in seeing what's going on. You're watching the competition. You're not just there hanging out, being a celebrity like they had you a couple years ago at Madison as the honorary starter or whatever it was. You're taking a strong interest in racing now. There's still some really good racing here in Wisconsin. What are your thoughts about super late model racing and the tracks you get to go to these days?
Well, we were talking about that with some of the guys here. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, There's 2 sides of the story. We need to make this cheaper. We need to make this affordable. That's never going to happen. The technology is here. The shocks, your guy, everything is to the utmost right there. And I watch, I wasn't at Kaukauna, but I watched it on TV. And, I mean, those cars don't even look fun to me anymore. I mean, they're glued to the racetrack. They're bouncing around. The guy gets out, takes his mouth guard out because his teeth are getting killed. It's really a fine art, and it doesn't take anything to miss the feature. I mean, one miscue, 1/4 of an inch here, 1/8 of an inch there, and all of a sudden you're junk. So that's a big difference. I mean, we ran the same car 60 times a year, whether it was at Slinger or Winchester or wherever.
Yeah.
Capital Super Speedway back in the day. So those days are gone, and like Brad was telling about, they take the Slinger car, and that's all they do with it. So we can't take it to Kaukauna because we're too far out of the box. And by the time we get there, it's over, and then we're all screwed up to come back to Slinger. So now we've got a Slinger car. Now we've got a Kaukauna. I guess you're probably more vested in that. Could explain how that works. But
yeah, I mean, we have a few of them just for that very reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not financially smart by no means, but we like to race, and to race competitively and to travel all over the place. I mean, you can't just have one bullet in the chamber. So, I mean, we got a car, we got one that we race primarily at the Dells, and then we got one that we travel with, and then, I mean, we got our limited late stuff that, we got a couple cars for that. I mean, it's, like Dave said, I mean, you got 40 shocks hanging on the wall. I mean, it's wild, but if you love it, you got to play the game a little bit.
Casey, last year you spent a lot of time with the driver from Texas, Barrett Polimas, finishing 5th in the Midwest Tour. You also had a young driver, Jonathan Schaefer, start the year from Ohio that's done a lot of racing elsewhere. What's it been like adapting to what Dave is saying, to what you are relating as a winning driver, and now their crew chief and their mentor? How does that all progress for you with these young drivers and what they have to learn with the different nuances of a super late?
I mean, what you find with the younger kids these days is a lot of them actually, I mean, they don't even start out driving like a go-kart or anything like that. They do a lot of iRacing and things like that, and you kind of got to tell them how to save a car because you don't really have to do that in there, and you got to let them remember there's no reset button either, So, I mean, you got to keep the fenders on the thing. But the kids now at such a young age are very good at adapting, which is the part that I was super surprised about. Like, I know for me, the first time I jumped into super late, I mean, it was an eye-opening experience. But those kids get in there like, it's nothing and they can go.
Casey, what's the rest of your schedule like this year?
We got a couple more races at the Dells. We're leading the points in the Ally for 5, so I'm going to try and cap that off. We might go run some Oktoberfest, maybe hit some stuff in the winter. I don't know yet exactly.
Is there a bandolero in the garage still?
There's a bandolero in the garage that had a little mishap. My girl, she wrecked it practicing a month or so ago, so Dad's got to fix that so we can run the Jefferson 2-day show for her.
So a couple guys know something about fixing their kids' stuff, but also preparing their cars for their race teams. And Penn Sauter's making his way. Johnny, your son Penn did a great job last year in bandoleros. You as the crew chief, racing as well as you guys have. And then he said, I'm putting together a late model for my kid. How's this season been going for you, knowing that he is racing late models? He finished 3rd at Slinger. He's also won at the Dells in a 50-lapper in a late model. I mean, this is kind of cool. You get to be involved in that in every way.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. It's been a lot of work, I'll tell you that. Like Casey just mentioned, the drivers today are just, these young kids are just up to speed right away. So, I'm thinking, this is good enough, this is close enough, and, he's just going to go get educated the first year. Well, he's right up to speed. So I feel like, honestly, the car's probably not good enough for him yet. So
what car do you put him in?
It's one of my old Howe cars from, 2014 or so. My brother wrecked it at St. Louis in 2017, so it actually sat out in the junkyard at Don's Auto for a couple years. Oh. It's pretty rusty when I went and picked it up, and then we put some clips on it, and just built it over the winter, worked on it. So it's a good car. Don't get me wrong. It's a good car, but there's things you could do to be a little bit better. But he's done a good job. He's getting educated for sure. He's still bouncing off of stuff every now and then. So that's just stuff he's going to have to figure out and learn as he goes. But he's, every track we've been to, Jefferson, Madison, Slinger, the Dells, he's got a top 5 finish. So I can't really say much about it other than it's been a lot of work.
What's left on his schedule for now? What's left on your schedule for now this year?
Yeah, my schedule's all over the map, so I don't really know. Changes daily, but
is that because your wife Courtney says here's the list of things?
No. We just, when Penn's racing, I kind of put my stuff on the back burner a little bit. But he's going to run Saturday at the Dells. I'm planning on running Sunday at the Dells. Oh. Next weekend we're kind of figuring out who's racing where. I kind of want to go to Grundy, and he wants to race the 2-day show at Jefferson, so we're going to try to figure that one out. But, just Oktoberfest, I'm sure we'll both be there, and then, there might be some truck racing sprinkled in there too, so we'll see what happens.
Wow, lots going on. Dave, what you been up to these days?
Nothing to do with motorsports, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Hey, you got any stuff laying around from back in the day? Any race cars, any hoods?
Not a thing.
Okay.
Not a thing.
Wow.
Nothing's older than yesterday's race car, except in this position. You did very good. That's a marvelous story, yeah. Because, back in the day, we built everything ourselves, basically. And so you're fortunate enough to find it a new home over the winter so you could build something fresh for the next season. So I didn't get very attached to race cars. The only thing that's still around, and I've lost track of it a little bit, is Deppy's Buick. Mm-hmm. And there's some changing going on there in Baraboo, so I don't even know where that is today for sure, but sure. I should find that, yeah.
And you guys shared that sponsorship. Deppy was a part of your program as well, Johnny, when you got to run some short tracks.
Yeah, no, Dave Deppy was gold as far as I'm concerned. He was one of my dad's best friends, and obviously Dave and the whole clan, that whole era was a pretty tight-knit group of guys. I think it's so cool. I'm kind of envious. Obviously, we talked about this earlier in the program, but I'm envious that I caught the tail end of, that era, but I got to hear the stories and all that. So, but pretty awesome. But Dave Deppy was a great guy.
We have Wisconsin champions among us. How about a big hand for Casey Johnson, Johnny Sauter, Dave Watson joining us here on the Racing Roundup Show, guys. Thanks for making it a special night.
Yep, thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Yep,
thanks Casey. Wish you well. And Casey's got to drive all the way home. It's a half a mile. I don't think he's going to walk there and bring the hauler back. I don't know. Yeah. If you hear race car noises, according to Jason Schuler, they're not on the street, okay? It's getting dark out. They have no headlights. They're just decals. But we'll figure out how to get these beautiful cars. They're actually under the lights here still at Utica Bar. So come on down and join the racing crowd. We're at the corner of County B and County W in Utica, Wisconsin. Back with more on this edition of the Racing Roundup Show.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Share what you love about short track racing on our Facebook page and on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We'll be right back with more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Greenfield Gallery wants to buy your racing collection. Do you have die-cast cars from IndyCar, Sprint Car, or short tracks? Greenfield Gallery wants them. If you have old racing programs, racing photos, and negatives, Greenfield Gallery wants those too. Contact Ralph Hibbert Jr. at Greenfield Gallery, who wants to buy your racing collection. Ralph also has an ever-changing eBay store full of racing collectibles. Search Greenfield Gallery. Email Ralph right now to get connected. His email address is ralph@greenfieldgallery.net.
For your next purge or project, go with the pros. Source Services. Champion driver and Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Famer Dan Source founded Source Services in 1988 with one truck, one employee, and a tireless work ethic. Through the dedicated work of Dan and his employees, Source Services LLC is southeastern Wisconsin's leading waste container rental company. Dropped and picked up by professionals, you can rent a dumpster for up to 60 days. Source Services sorts and recycles to reduce the amount of waste going into landfills. Go with the pros at sourceservices.com.
Eliminate the hassles of planning a trip to the races. Hook up with Boring Bob's escorted NASCAR racing tours. Boring Bob offers transportation, lodging, race tickets, nightlife, shuttle service, and more. Boring Bob knows all the back roads into and out of the racetrack to get you in and out fast. Pick one or pick them all. Go in style to Daytona, Bristol, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and more. He has decades of experience and industry contacts galore. You name the race, let Boring Bob do the rest. Call Boring Bob today to make plans now to go on one of Boring Bob's famous escorted NASCAR racing tours. Boring Bob's always at 414-321-1307. That's 414-321-1307. Get your whole family involved in affordable, competitive kart racing at Millwright Raceway in Dousman, Wisconsin, home of the Badger Kart Club. Walk the pit area, talk to racers, and check out the action from the grandstands. There's a play area for the kids and great food at the concession stand. Spectator admission is free. Badger Kart Club points racers and National Touring Series race on the challenging paved road course most Sundays from April through September. Badger Kart Club is well established and well respected. There's 15 classes and over 100 drivers racing every week. From ages 5 to 75, kart racing offers competition for generations of racers of all ages. Bring the kids and check out kart racing for yourself at one of America's finest kart tracks. This is where Alan Kowicki, Danica Patrick, Sam Mayer, and Josh Palicki got their start. Millwright Raceway is just south of I-94 in Dousman, 35 miles west of Milwaukee, and 45 miles east of Madison. For all the latest information, directions, and race schedule, visit BadgerKartClub.com.
The Racing Roundup Show is dedicated to showcasing grassroots racers and national stars of our sport. If you're a fan of NASCAR, four-wheel, two-wheel, road racing, drag racing, or the short track scene, you are in the right place. Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show.
Hey gang, next Tuesday night, join us on September 17th at the Oak Creek Automotive Night at the Cellar in Oak Creek, 812 West Oakwood Road. The address is on our website, racingroundupshow.com, on the schedule page. This portion of our show is brought to you by Allied Resource Recovery. Turn your recyclable metals, say that 3 times fast, recyclable metals into cash. ARR has locations in West Dallas and Waukesha. Find their full list of accepted materials at ARR1938.com. We also want to remind you that this Sunday, September 15th, is the Hales Corner Speedway reunion. It's in New Berlin, Wisconsin, at the VFW at 17980 West Beloit Road in New Berlin. It goes from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Race car photos, memorabilia, food, music, fun, bench racing. It's this Sunday, the Hales Corner Speedway reunion. If you're part of that group or you want to be hanging out with them, they'll accept any race car, any classic car to come out and do the show. Be there by 9 a.m. with those cars and have a great day with reminiscing about the days of Hales Corners Speedway this coming Sunday. I'd like to thank the following for bringing out your race cars tonight. Thank you guys. Emily Billings for bringing out our Bandolero. Casey Johnson brought his Hogan Farms sponsored Super Late Model. Carson Phillips right next door, the beautiful red late model with Hogan Farms on the quarter panel. Thank you, Carson. Tim Coley brought his late model as well. Kevin Kinesi with the Midwest Truck Series. Tristan Firsthouse, Wisconsin Winglands is sitting at the road. Bobby Wilberg's late model is here. Thank you guys for bringing that down. And also Riley Stenjum with his super late model is also not only with a race car, he's within striking distance of his home. I'd say maybe a 3-wood. Yeah, a good 3-wood on a good day, depending on the wind. And we're also joined by him sitting right next to me. Let's have a big hand for these next 3 All-Stars. Bill Howland, Riley Stenjum, and Jason Allen. Guys, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Awesome.
Riley, we'll start with you because proximity is everything. You are literally that close to your house, 3 houses away.
Yeah, for sure. When I heard the Racing Roundup was going to be out here, Jason and Joe, we're having you guys down here. I thought it was awesome, and it's great to be on here. You guys have always been good to me, having me on through the Kawiki program the last couple of years. So cool to be on it in my hometown right here. This is like, I tell people, this is kind of like Mooresville, Wisconsin. A lot of race cars around here. It's pretty cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, no kidding. And you're wearing the hat that's a red, white, and blue state champion. Congrats on the championship. You guys bagged it this year with Chase Motorsports.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was a smaller part of it. Ty Majeski was in the car for most of the red, white, and blue, and he wasn't able to make it with one of the rainouts, so I ran the white race. So to have our names on there together, being friends like that, it's pretty cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, you guys are tight, and it's kind of cool. You guys keep bouncing ideas off each other. I won't know if you're speaking English, French, or Italian because you guys are both engineers and mindset. How much fun is that, bouncing ideas off a guy like Ty Majeski, about talking to Toby, talking to Chase Motorsports? You guys have a lot of experience amongst you.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to have people like that in your corner. You know, I became friends with Ty through iRacing the last couple of years, and to be teamed up with Dennis and Julie, who have had a lot of success in Super Lates with Casey and a lot of other drivers throughout the years, and they've got Toby cars in their stable now, and they wanted to get a little bit more involved in the Toby car clan, and I've got a couple of them, so we were able to all team up this year, and Ty wanted to run the red, white, and blue, so it kind of worked out, and so yeah, we teamed up with Dennis to run the Midwest Tour, about half and half with our car and his car, and it's been a good year. It's been up and down a little bit. We've had some flashes of speed, and we're hoping to close the year strong.
And when it comes to the race cars sitting here, is that a Toby car as well?
Yep, this is actually the first one Ty and Toby built when they first started racing. We've been running it the last couple of years. We bought it from them. So yeah, it's the first one they built when they started that team up with Brad and Nancy Manstead back about 10 years ago. So we're still racing it.
Wow. And, Bill, you know that stiff competition, it does not stop. When Riley goes racing, he knows he's against some really good cars that you've gotten a chance to watch and cover in recent years.
Absolutely. And I was curious, when you're talking about the Red, White, and Blue Championship, what are some of the challenges that you guys as a team ran into racing with the Chase Motorsports folks as opposed to racing with your own equipment, which you've done for quite a while?
Yeah, it was actually pretty seamless. We got up there on Thursday nights at Kaukauna, and the car was really good right away. We ran a couple races to get going. Started at the icebreaker with them, and had a solid run, and we had a struggle a little bit at Slinger and Madison to start the year, but we hit the ground running at Kaukauna for the weekly shows. I set fast time the first night, and then Ty came out a couple weeks later, set fast time and won the feature. So yeah, we had a good year. I wasn't able to get a feature win this year, so hoping to do that at some point. But yeah, we had 3 fast times up there this year, finished third in the regular season points, and won the red, white, and blue. That was a pretty crazy finish there with all the attrition and everything that happened. And yeah, it's cool to be a part of it, cool to have my name on that illustrious list.
Riley Stengen, what's left on your racing schedule this year?
Quite a bit yet. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it to the 2-day show at Jefferson this year with the way the ARC Midwest Tour or the ASA Midwest Tour schedule works out. We'll be at Elko, Minnesota next Saturday night for the ASA Midwest Tour Thunderstruck race.
I'll see you there.
Yep, and then we'll be at Oktoberfest, hoping to run both the late model and then as well as the Chase Motorsports Super Late. So our family late model and the Chase Motorsports Super Late, and then at the end of the year, probably Halloween, depending on how we get out of Oktoberfest.
Wow, that's the race coming up in October at Dells Raceway Park. The third member of our panel this time around is Jason Allen. Jason, I'm doing the math. As these guys are mentioning racetracks, you've been working at the racetracks a lot. We may not see you working, but we know you're appreciated. And as a member of the safety and fire crew, man, it's cool to know that you're there supporting these guys, making sure they're safe, making sure that things are up to snuff. How much fun is it knowing you're working at Dells Raceway Park, Madison, Thomas Sparta, Milwaukee Mile, and Chicagoland, among other tracks?
And you can also probably add in Lewisburg, Indiana as well, because I just picked up that track as well. Kentucky may be on the list, and Indianapolis 500 for next year. So
wow.
I'm ready to rock and roll. I just got my IndyCar certification this year. I'm NASCAR certified, so we're ready to rock and roll for next year. Looking for a good season. This season was very long and very hot.
What have your responsibilities at Dells, Madison, and Milwaukee?
I'm usually the runner. I'm on the safety truck. I'm on the rollback. I'm on the wrecker. So I do it all.
First there, last to leave. That's kind of what the rule is, right?
That's usually how it is.
Yep. How many nights a week do you end up going to racetracks?
Oh, geez. Sometimes 2 nights, sometimes 3 nights, sometimes 4 nights. It just really depends.
And the Milwaukee Mile IndyCar weekend, I'm guessing that's where you got certified. How was that working those 2 days?
Oh, that was pretty exhausting. Especially the NASCAR race, it was like almost like 110 degrees outside. So we was all sweating, couldn't even keep hydrated. While the cars were still out on the track, we were trying to keep warm as best as we can, get out of the sun as much as you can.
Yeah.
Try to get underneath the tarp, try to drink plenty of water, unzip our suits. It was a very big challenge. Then the IndyCar came in, and it wasn't as bad. We had a nice cool breeze, so that actually kind of helped out. Their race teams that I had to do with 3 cars at the same time was actually pretty interesting, and you can only move around so dang quick because you got to go from one box to another box to another box, and they can come in within a matter of seconds. I think one car, we timed it, was less than 7 seconds. I mean, it was up, tires off, tires on, fuel, go. So it was actually pretty exciting, and you do get stuff thrown at you, lug nuts, fuel, water, so you got to be very careful. They always teach us in race car school, when that car or truck leaves, you turn your head, because they're not joking. The lug nut is going to come off. It is going to hit you in the head. So I've been knocking on wood. That has not happened to me yet. I really don't want to have that lovely experience because that's going to hurt.
We appreciate everything you do, especially those long days of staying in position and being at the ready. Riley Stenge, when it comes to racing, I know that things are to the point where you got to keep the car sealed off. And then when spring hits, it's like, okay, I'm glad I'm in the race car because it's warmer than outside. And all of a sudden, man, the heat hits you. How do you prepare for that through a given season? I know what Jason just described, what he has to do as a safety worker. But when it comes to a race or a racetrack, whether it be a one-day show or a two-day show, and all of a sudden it's like that instant Wisconsin summer hits you, what's it like to get that car to get some air, because you don't want anything in the cockpit most times, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of weird when you're under green. Usually you don't really feel it too much, but then the yellows come around and it gets pretty hot in there under yellow. You see a lot of guys sticking their hand out the window to try to deflect some air into the car. But yeah, it's as long as you stay hydrated, usually it's been pretty good for me. I've been just kind of keeping up with my hydration the day before a race if we've got a long one or whatever. But yeah, you kind of just get used to it as you get going. And but yeah, when you first start out, it's for sure you notice it, and it's pretty hot in those cars some days.
You know, I got to tell you, as we're sitting here at Utica Bar, Riley, I was at Madison International Speedway on I forget what day it was. I'm walking out the pit gate, and your mom said, "Hey, you're going to Utica?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going home now." She said, "No, you're going to Utica Bar in September." She's excited. It's pretty cool. We're in your neighborhood. Talk about the fun you guys have at Utica Bar, specifically when you're not racing or in the area working on stuff.
Yeah, this is for sure. When Hansi bought it, he really turned it into a hangout, and it's pretty cool to see what it's turned into. And now with Jason and Becky running it, it's cool to see them carry on that tradition. This place is always busy any day of the week. They've got good food. Everybody's always having a good time here. It's good to get out here for sure.
And we're 4 miles down the road from Hogan Farms. It's got to be cool knowing you got their support as well.
Yeah, for sure. Joe and Scott, they do a lot for the racing community, especially in this little area, and a lot of people around this area. They're huge race fans, and they love supporting racers, and it's awesome to have them on board my car and many others.
Absolutely. It's awesome to just be around this. If you can't feel it through the show, you need to be here and experience it yourself. Who else is sponsoring and helping you guys out, Riley?
Yeah, between myself and Dennis and Julie Chase's team, we've got an army of people that supports us. We've already ran 25 or so super late races this year, so it takes an army. On Dennis and Julie's car, the main one is Benny and Carrie DeYoung, Valley Gasket. Joe and Scott Hogan, they stepped on board to help Dennis and Julie out as well as my team out this year. So they're on the car. Van Zeeland Collision, Allstate, Shindig of Wapaka. They've got all sorts of supporters on their car. And then on my car, we've got the Screaming Norwegian, Nick Score, a farmer from up the road. He helps us out. And then House Contractors, like I said, Hogan Farms, Utica Bar, Kurtz Welding, Direct Networks, D&D Olson Farms right up the road here. We've got a lot of family friends that support us and have been with me for a long time, and it's cool to represent them all.
And who's all here tonight with you?
I've got my dad, my mom, my girlfriend. My grandma Connie actually came out, so she hasn't ever been able to make it down when I've been at Paulie's, so it's cool to have her out here tonight. Yeah, it's awesome. A lot of people, a lot of familiar faces. Cool to be here.
Great to see you guys both here. Thank you for taking the time. Bill Holland, we're going to wrap up the show by saying Bill went somewhere cool. Where'd you go this week?
We've got highlights from Dells Raceway Park and Golden Sands Speedway.
That's called Bill Holland's In the Groove. We're going there now from Utica Bar to your living room or your device. Enjoy this week's In the Groove with Bill Holland.
Hi, I'm Bill Holland in the Groove at Dells Raceway Park, home of the ASA Midwest Tour Jim Sauter Classic. This race honors one of the all-time greats of short track racing, a two-time ARTGO Series champion in the 1980s who made more than 70 NASCAR Cup Series starts. Jim Sauter's legacy includes 3 generations of drivers who've raced late models here at DRP. The latest is Penn Sauter, son of former NASCAR Truck Series champ Johnny Sauter. His first super late model start will be in the race honoring his late grandfather.
It's obviously special to me because it was my grandpa. I think the goal tonight is just going to be complete all the laps, just execute, no whatever lap penalties, just try to complete all the laps and come home with a solid finish.
Five-time Midwest Tour champ Ty Majeski won this race 1 year ago. Defending Tour champ Gabe Summers, with Travis Sauter as his crew chief, won in 2022 and has wins in 2 of his 4 starts here this year.
We've had some great luck here and some great success in the last couple months and 2 years ago when we won it. So definitely coming in with a lot of confidence, and I think we got a good car.
In qualifying, it's former Wisconsin Challenge Series champ Ryan Farrell fastest on the stopwatch.
We've been dialed in on the one rules package all year, so we were ready to go when we got here. And boy, it just feels good to get that fast time. So hopefully races like that.
The Midwest Truck Series is the first feature on the night. James Lynch on the pole in the 23 and Kevin Zielizinski on the outside in the 38. The truckers going for 50 laps. Lynch with the early lead, with Zielizinski second. Grant Griesbach in the 60, side by side with Eugene Gregorich, the third in the 1. And big crash. Jacob Nottestad hard into the wall in the 97. This will bring out the red flag. Back to green flag racing. And James Lynch in the Trevor Raschione 23 truck has led all the way. He's doing double duty tonight, racing in the 200-lap super late model race later. But James Lynch's return to the Truck Series is a night to remember. The Palos Park, Illinois racer will wheel the 23 to the checkers, winning the Midwest Truck Series feature.
It means a lot, especially for this team. To get their first win means a lot. I've been wanting to win here at the Dells for a really long time. This was one of the first tracks I raced at when I started legend car racing. Never came close. I got a lot of seconds here.
Up next, the 602 Outlaw late models. Veteran Tom Carlson in the 51 on the pole. Evan Leahy in the 6 on the high side as the field takes the green. Carlson, the West Salem veteran, former Artgo star, has a lot of laps here at DRP. He leads Brad Worthen in the 22. Leahy, Brian Johnson Sr. in the 17. Dennis Prunty and Ethan Rose right behind. Worthen, the veteran out of Sparta, is on the move and takes the lead from Carlson as the laps wind down. Brad Worthen's having a big year at DRP in the Outlaws and takes the checkers, winning his 4th feature of the year.
I think I'm one of the only ones that ain't afraid to go to the outside of a leader in the 602 class. So we've done that twice this year now. So we'll come back here in 2 weeks and for short track and see what happens.
NASCAR driver Derek Kraus in the 9 and former Midwest Tour champion Andrew Morrissey in the 39 bring the field to green for the first of 200 laps in the Jim Sauter Classic. And trouble for defending race champion Ty Majeski. He goes around on the backstretch. Gabe Summers also involved. He'll go to the back along with the 91. On the restart, it's former national short track champion Max Taylor in the 17 on the front row alongside Derek Kraus. A lot of racing left in this one. Max Taylor won the UMA Super Late Model Championship here last year, and he has a very good race car tonight. Taylor pulling away from the field. The battle for second has Andrew Morrissey, Luke Fenhouse in the 4, Ty Fredrickson's 36, Gabe Summers back up to 5th in the 15. We're coming up on lap traffic, and Luke Fenhouse gets the worst of this 3-wide situation. Caution's out and Fenhouse's night is over. Ty Majeski's also had a tough night, and it just got worse. Justin Mondyke in the 44 gets collected also. All night long, the 17's been the class of the field. Coming to the checkers, it's Max Taylor winning the Jim Sauter Classic, his first Midwest Tour feature win.
Yeah, just awesome, and we picked up our first ASA Midwest Tour win, which is a big deal to me. So just a much needed win at a great time, and really just a dominant race.
At Golden Sand Speedway, 15-year-old Ty Fredrickson comes into the Tundra Series finale leading the point standings. This young gun is shooting for a championship.
First chance at a Super Late Model Championship I've had, so I'm a little nervous, but we're pretty fast, so I think it'll be a good day for us.
Second in points, Brock star Brock Heinrich, who just clinched a second straight championship at his home track, State Park Speedway.
We've been trying this now since 2020. So I think we got one coming. We've shown that we've been able to run with the guys up front. We just got to put everything together, and maybe we can get one done.
2022 Tundra champ Justin Mondyke has an outside shot at the title, but his motivation in the 108-lap Cleaver Classic is his friendship with the late David Gruenberg, who this race honors.
What it means today to win for David, right? And that'd be pretty cool. I've been able to win a couple Ashenbrenner Memorials and other people that were close with us, so it'd be cool to get the Cleaver Classic today.
Fast qualifier Mike Litchfield, also in a 44 car, has the same motivation.
Cleaver, you talk to 100 people, you're going to get 100 great responses about Cleaver and the type of man he was and how much we all miss him. So he's the reason why we're here today.
Before the Tundra Super Late Model feature, the Golden Sands Pro Late Models will take the green in the third and final race of their Triple Crown Series. Up front, Brazen Bennett in the 9, 11-time Golden Sands champ Mark Eswine in the 71, Kendrick Cryer in the 66, Brady Bill in the 70. Bennett's had a lot of success in the Pro Late Models at Wisconsin International Raceway. Cryer's just won his second straight Late Model Championship here. Bill won the Late Model Championship back in 2022. Here we go for the lead. Kendrick Cryer to the inside, making his move to take over the top spot from Brazen Bennett. Cryer pulling away as Brady Bill takes over the second spot. Good battle for fourth on back. Michael Hager in the 19 battling with Colton Morgan's 39. Mark Eswine right there in sixth. Up front, Kendrick Cryer has the field covered. The 17-year-old out of Wisconsin Dells takes the checkers and wins the overall Triple Crown Championship.
There's a plan to try to win the race for sure, like I was talking about earlier, and we ended up sealing the deal and getting the Triple Crown Championship. It was pretty nice.
Gail Kronberger joins starter Pat Barrett in the flag stand as we go green in the 108-lap Cleaver Classic, honoring her late husband. Justin Mondyke in the 44 with the early lead, ahead of Brock Heinrich in the 52 and 16-year-old Jevin Goralski in the 20 car. The driver on the move is John Beal in the 5. He's made his way past Kendrick Cryer doing double duty this afternoon, and point leader Ty Fredrickson. And caution flies. The 5 car's gone up in smoke and flame. A scary moment for Beal for certain. Back to green flag racing, and two-time national short track champion Jeremy Lepak is on the move in the 40 car. The past champion at Slinger and State Park Speedways passing Jevin Goralski for second. Mike Litchfield in the black 44 has made his way up to the 4th spot, and he'll pass Ty Fredrickson for third. But this one belongs to Justin Mondyke. He's had a long association with the Kronbergers, and winning the Cleaver Classic is special for the former Tundra champion.
Just a big, important race for us. Gail does so much for us, just to support her. It's amazing how much that she still continues to give to our program, emotionally, physically, and really money, right? It's just everything. She's always there. But David, it's an honor to win this race in memory of him.
With 2 wins and 5 Tundra Series starts, 15-year-old Ty Fredrickson is the 2024 Tundra champion.
It's really cool to win a championship. It's my first Super Late Model championship, so it's a really awesome one, and hopefully we can, if we run the series full time next year, we can get another one.
So which is more impressive, winning a touring championship at the age of 15 or leading every single lap of a 108-lap feature race? You decide. I'm Bill Holland. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone who makes this program possible. We'll see you next time we go in the groove on the Racing Roundup Show.
Bill, a lot of great coverage there. It's just neat to know that you're involved with that, and I have to put a period on a few things. Since those races, we've learned that Justin Mondyke is now racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for 2 races, Bristol and Kansas. We also know Kendrick Cryer is making his ASA Stars National debut this coming Saturday at Toledo Speedway for a team out of Florida. So we got some really good things cooking here yet this season for some Wisconsin racers. And some big specials coming up, like at Dells Raceway Park.
Oh, there's so much coming up. The National Short Track Championship, as you mentioned, moving to Dells Raceway Park. The Wisconsin State Championships at Jefferson, which, as was talked about earlier, such a big show. On the dirt, the Wildman Watson Classic. That race means an awful lot for a lot of dirt late model guys. And of course, Oktoberfest isn't far off. So a lot of big shows, a lot going on.
Looking forward to not being done yet. We got a lot more to cover. How about a big hand, everybody, for Bill Holland joining us here. And great coverage again, Bill. Thanks again for all the great work.
As always, thanks for the opportunity.
Really appreciate it. Hey, while you're making a big clapping noise, please put your hands together for Jason Schuler, Becky, his wife, and the whole group from Hogan Farms. Thank you for making this show possible at Utica Bar. Guys, we can't thank you enough for that. Thank you, Scott and Joe Hogan. And really, it's been a lot of fun hanging out here at Utica Bar. This is not the last time we'll be here. Hopefully, we're being talked into maybe making this an annual event if it's okay with you guys. We'll hang out with you guys anytime, anywhere. And it's a bunch of fun to be here with you this evening. I want to thank our great crew for making this possible. Thank you to Dave Schmalzer, Matt Rapina, Greg Lapine. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Mark Goodman, Brice Blodgett. They got here before I did to help things set up and look great. Thank you to Dean Strom for his contributions, as well as Sam Trado, Sherry Prague, Jill Lapine, and Faye Hendricks for all your help all throughout the season. It takes a lot of folks to make this show possible. We'd like you to join us on a Saturday at CW18 Milwaukee at 11:30 on Saturday mornings. We have a 30-minute show. Portions of our Tuesday show air on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. on CW18 Milwaukee, so make sure you join us for that. CW18 actually starts the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule now through 7 more years on Friday night, September 20th at Bristol Motor Speedway. So mark that down, set your DVRs. As we like to say, make sure you check out all things local and in racing. Madison area, the hotbed. Utica, the central point to be out hanging out with these cool racers. Thanks again for being on the program and joining us here. What a great cast of characters. Thank you, Todd Cleaver, for popping in. Good to see you here. Brandon Welty, you mentioned as well from the Badger Midgets. We wish you guys all the best in the remaining weeks you guys have in your schedule. Look forward to seeing you again real soon. Until next Tuesday at the Cellar in Oak Creek, I'm Jim Trado. Set your DVRs, support your local racing, and have at it, racers.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Remember to tell your friends and watch our 30-minute TV show on Milwaukee's CW18 this Saturday morning at 11:30. Like our show on Facebook, follow and interact with us on X and Instagram at Racing Roundup. Join the racing crowd at our live show and win prizes. For our latest show schedule and to watch all of our shows on demand, visit our website, RacingRoundupShow.com. We are delivering fresh content every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. Until next time, race fans, on behalf of our entire crew, this is Dean Strom reminding you to support your local racetracks, set your DVRs, have at it, racers.